Hello everyone, welcome back to GDQ Hotfix. We just had an amazing episode of PB Precipice. Absolutely love watching Pokemon speedruns, but now we're going to be seeing It's Dangerous to Go Alone, which is a celebration of co-op speedruns. I'm your host, Frozen Flagon, and these next two shows for me are going to be MMO themed. Haven't really seen any of that on this show yet, and I'm super excited for that. We're going to get started with Final Fantasy XIV Online. But before we do that, I have a couple of announcements. So if you haven't heard, SGQ 2023 is coming up. It's May 28th through June 4th in Minneapolis, Minnesota in person. So if you're interested in attending the event, registration is now open till May 3rd. So go to gamesdonequick.com and click your profile if you're interested in registering for that. But yeah, I think we're just about ready to see some Final Fantasy action. I will throw it on over to our runners who will introduce themselves and talk about what we're going to be doing today. And yeah, how are you all doing?
I'm great. I'm Varin. I'm here with my friends who would like to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Blueberry26, and in game I go by Very Interesting.
I'm Sabor. In game, I go by Sabaka, and I'm here to help Varin with their little event
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
And I am TMB, also just here to give assistance in times of need.
And if you haven't heard of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with an expanded free trial, which you can play through the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 for free with no restrictions on playtime, we are here to show you that today. We have a little compilation of content that we would like to show off. Some of it is going to be just going through some dungeons really quickly, and some of it is going to be doing what we call unsyncing Savage content, which is old patches in the game, very hard content. And then we're going to transition into just showing off some of the current content in the game under the Endwalker expansion, the current X-Pack that is out, and just showing what you can do with your friends under a normal composition. So this is an MMO. People can pick different classes that they can play under. It can be random. It can be whatever you'd like. There are healers, DPS, and tanks. Over here on the left side of my screen here, you will see that it says Cross-World Party and that there are 4 people in my party. There is myself under the Reaper class. There is Blue under the Summoner class. There is TMB is under the Ninja class, and Saba is under the Warrior class. So Saba is a tank, and the rest of us are DPS. This is important to note because traditionally in content, for 4-player dungeon content, you need 1 tank, 1 healer, and 2 DPS to clear content. But we are actually going to be doing most of our content and a couple of our dungeons under this composition. We're going without a healer because it's fun, and it's fun to challenge ourselves, and it is fun to see how fast we can go through a dungeon without any healing assistance. Saba will be going in under Warrior for Warrior's better healing capabilities than some of the other tanks. And yeah. So our first dungeon is going to be Satasha Hard. We're going to go under this composition of 1 tank and 3 DPS. So we picked this dungeon in particular because it is a little spicy, and it is, as you can see at the top here, it is on Dungeons of Realm Reborn. So this is from the first expansion of the game. And if you don't know anything about 14 used to have a 1.0, and we play in the current, we're under patch 6.35, I believe now. So this X-Pack came out about 10 years ago. This was the reboot of Final Fantasy XIV after the failure of 1.0. So this is all considered 2.0 to 2.55 content. Yeah, we're going to queue up for Satasha Hard. Once we all commence and hit join, you can start that timer for us. So I'm going to hit join. And then once I hit commence here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Awesome. I'm super excited for this. We're going to have a really fun time. And people in the chat, feel free to ask any questions you have. We're already seeing the classic, how do you speedrun an MMO question? But the answer is you can speedrun anything, and that's why we're here
You
to
can
do.
just speedrun.
You can just, if you start something with a timer, you're a speedrunner. Congratulations.
That's it.
So, Saba has on what we call a tank stance. It is going to be this Defiance right here, which increases his enmity. And enmity is how tanks will hold aggro in dungeons. So what we're doing here is we're running along and damaging the mobs that Saba is pulling while we're making it to the door. And if we kill them fast enough, we don't need anybody to heal us. And it's very interesting because, like I said earlier, normally you would have a healer class brought with you, so that way your tank doesn't die during these pulls. But we're cool and we're unique and interesting, and we're a very good communicative group. So we just attack things as we go, so that way Saba doesn't have to sacrifice themselves.
That's good.
We like to keep our friends alive in this.
Of course.
So in each of these dungeons, and this is, some dungeons are going to have a little bit of a different preference in how they split these up, but there are what we call mobs in between each of these bosses. So you can see that we had 2 sets of mobs, which we would call a pack, and we park the pack and attack it, but obviously we killed them before we get there. Also, DPS friends, let's try to pot on this guy so we can just kill him. So this is our first boss, Carlobos. He's a little tricky in that he does a lot of damage very quickly. So you're going to see that Saba's health is very rapidly winding down. Saba is going to be rotating his mitigations here so that he can take as much damage as possible before eventually succumbing to his unfortunate sacrifice. Because the Carlobos is going to do an attack that will basically just oopsie whoopsies. Your health is now at 0, and then it will be. Oh, you didn't use Home Gang yet. Oh, that's nice. So Saba has used his invuln, which is called Home Gang. So if his health were to be reduced to less than 1, Home Gang makes it to where it is not reduced to less than 1. I thought you already used Home Gang, so never mind. We didn't sacrifice Saba. Let's go, friends. Yay! We didn't have to sacrifice Saba. So as you can see on my screen here, I have 2 debuffs. They're called Slime. So what it does is it makes me move slower and it does damage over time. You will notice that my attacks are also a little bit slower. Now that it is worn off, I am free to move about the cabin, which is really cool. Who opened the chest? Who opened the chest?
Not me.
Have a little fun.
Yeah, we gotta roll
A little fun.
So somebody opened a chest and there's loot that you can roll on. You can communicate amongst your friends and decide who gets the loot if you want to. You don't have to. These crabs will continue to follow us, so we'll just bring them into this next room in here with us. Let's be careful and try not to kill too many of the brines here so we don't accidentally undo Saba's existence, friends. So for a lot of this, you're going to see our health be a little bit on the lower side, just simply because we don't have a healer, and our self-healing will pick us up a little bit as we continue on through this, but probably won't get us super far. Ooh, those brines are spicy, friends. Let's get this crab and then we're good.
That is a large crab.
It is a large friend. It is no longer a friend.
Goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever. Let's be careful with our AoEs in the brine. Let's just single target these. Oh no, blue! So if a character were to undo their existence and are no longer with us, they can walk back into the arena. So blue will do what we call pushing out. Will spawn back at the beginning of this area and will just walk back to us with full health, which is really cool because that means that we can focus on attacking the next set of the bosses while we're waiting for blue to come back to us. Unfortunately, blue will have to walk back from the beginning of the dungeon, but that gives us a little bit of time to regen our health. Isn't that wonderful?
I like healing generally and having health, I would say.
Yeah, it's usually usually pretty good.
You can pull it, I'll be there in like 10 seconds.
So this is Captain Madison. He does a couple of things where he is going to spawn some zombies that will attach themselves to our feet once we get him down to a low amount of health. But for the most part, we're just going to attack him as we would if we had a normal party composition. And we're just going to, walk the plank. Love that for us. He's going to randomly target some of us, and he's going to put a mark on them, and then he's going to shoot at us, and then the ads will be the ads that spawn, which is Captain Leeches, the Captain's Guard, Captain's Boy, will also continue to target those unless Saba grabs the mobs from them. And because Saba has this tank stance on, it will be very easy for him to grab aggro away from the rest of us. So enmity works in a way that as long as you have the highest enmity on a list while you're attacking something, you will always hold the threat for it, and that means that it will focus on you instead. And a tank stance means that you will always generate higher enmity than anybody else in the party list. If Saba were to turn his stance off and I were to... I wasn't attacking, that would probably help if I attacked, huh? If Saba were to turn his stance off and everybody else were to attack, we would generate more enmity than a tank would because we would do more damage, and then we would get attacked, and that's not good. So, thankfully, Saba has a stance on.
That's really interesting.
We're going to be doing a variety of content. It's not just going to be one sort of thing.
Yeah, we have a bunch of different stuff going on today. It's going to be really fun. Just get a sampling of a lot of different stuff that you can do, in this game together.
I saw someone in chat. It is not actually going to be a showcase of all free-to-play content. This first one is luckily something that is inside of the free trial.
We'll just do the first three.
But
let's do the first three separate. We're not going to do the whole pool.
We'll make sure that Saba stays with us on the plane of existence. Because last night was really spicy and it ended up working out, but I was a little scared. Luckily, I had a lot of self-healing, so it was okay. Okay. So this next set of mobs is going to be pretty large, and then I won the loot. Thank you guys. I love that for me. These are going to be pretty large, and then once this set of mobs is over, there's going to be another large pack that spawns. We're going to want to very quickly dispatch these so we do not leave this plane of existence. That would be very bad. We want to stay here with our friends. I think this guy might end up homing me or not. We don't know. Who got home ganged? Oh, it was Blue. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. So this mob also has the ability Home Gang, and it is not the same invuln like Saba's does. It basically parks them in place and makes you unable to move, and he winds up an attack on you and attempts to delete you from this plane of existence. But yay, we have enough DPS that it does not matter. We did enough damage. So the interesting thing about this boss, and the reason why we originally picked this dungeon, not only because of its difficulty, is that there is...
Thanks for the physic.
thanks for the physic. I love that for us. Is that there is a sweet corner spot in which we are going to tuck ourselves on the right side of the crack in here so that none of the tentacles that show up will be able to grab us. Unfortunately, we will get the ink blot and we will be blinded, but as long as we stand in the corner of this pixel corner of the arena right here, none of these tentacles, which are supposed to grab us, can grab us. So we will quickly dispatch this boss while not having to do or respect any of the mechanics at all. And as you can see, that there are tentacles and Kraken's arms spawning around the arena, but they cannot reach us because for whatever reason, they didn't think that you should be able to make it to where you can be grabbed over here. So you can see them over here. They're hitting us, but the tentacles won't be able to grab us. They didn't think about this at all. We are well out of the way. So silly.
I love the different enemy and boss designs in this game. They're all really cool.
They're all so unique and just so much fun.
Yeah, like so many of my friends play this game and just there's so many different strategies. Like they're just really good at boss design. It forces you to, really work together instead of just, let's just all run and mash. Like, no, it's a planned out strategy you all have to do.
Yeah. So it's basically like a lot of that was just what we call the run and gun tactics, where you just run in and gun everything down, and then you're done. Yet that's it. You just do enough damage that you don't have to respect a lot of the mechanics that are going on. And specifically in Sasasha Hard, anybody can do that last strat that we did, where you just tuck yourself in the corner and you won't get grabbed. You just don't. Anybody can do that. You don't even need this party comp. You can literally just do it with your friends and never have to respect any of the mechanics. So that's fine. The right, I believe the left corner of it also works. It's just the same side. It's just you have to tuck yourself really far in where you just don't get grabbed. But I do believe it works on the other side. I just like the right side because it's closer. Why not? And you don't accidentally risk getting grabbed by the other tentacle while trying to make it over to the left corner. Oh, but yay, we did that. So next, we are going to showcase 2 different raids from the Omega series. So this was a raid series during the Stormblood expansion, the Deltascape, Sigmascape, Alphascape. We called them the Omega series, and they are all listed 1 through 12. So these are the normal versions of them, and then we will be doing the Savage versions of them unsynced. What this means is that we will not be capped at the level that you need to be to do this. So normally if you were to queue for this content normally with your friends, you would be synced at level 70 and you would be playing this at level 70, but we are all level 90 characters, as you can see here. So we are going to be opening the Duty Finder settings, hitting unrestricted party, and then we're going to hit confirm. And so now when we go to queue inside of these, we will no longer be synced. We will be at level 90. So this is something... I'm sorry, go ahead, TMB.
It's worth noting that they also added a bunch of other difficulty settings to queuing with your friends, because not only can you do it synced, but every instance in this game has a minimum gear score to enter it and a maximum gear score they allow you to have when you're queuing into it. And you can actually select the option to always do it with the most minimum amount of gear score available, which makes the content much more difficult than the normally what we call eye levels, 40 eye level gap between the minimum and maximum you can have in a given instance.
Yeah, and there's also
so you can do it on the easiest
too.
mode, which is unsynced with your friends. You can challenge yourselves by syncing to it, and then go even further by having the least amount of stats available to you while doing the content as well.
Yeah, and there's also the Silence Echo, which is something we are going to be taking advantage of while we are unsyncing this. But there are 2 options for minimum eye level and then Silence Echo, which I used to be in a static for. I did the Binding Coils of Bahamut minimum eye level, no echo, and it was really fun. So that's, like as TMB said, that it's another way you can also do the content. But we are going to not do that. We're going to cheese it. We're just going to go full abilities, full eye level, full everything, and we're just going to go in. So this was at request of TMB that we show this one off. So this is Deltascape V3 Savage. This is Halicarnassus. This one is really fun. So the way Savage works in this game is that these are the harder versions of the raid series that comes out with every expansion. They come out in chunks of 4, so they'll go 1 through 4, 4 through 8, 9 through 12. This is the 3rd one. This is Halicarnassus. Normally there is a bunch of mechanics you will have to do. There will be like a bunch of what we call these waymarks here in the corner that I have in the corner of my screen. You can see that I have some of them set up for the current Savage, but people will put up like waymarks and be like, oh, everybody's going to stack here and then you need to go here to avoid a mechanic or whatever, but we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to walk in and we're just going to rip on her. We're just going to do a bunch of damage because we don't need to respect any of the mechanics.
That's what speedrunning's all about. We just do what we need to do, and the game's got a deal.
Also, the music from this raid series was just absolutely immaculate. Honestly, this is a banger soundtrack, really. Like, I know Ray can't really crank it, but please crank the music. It's so good. So as you can see there was a marker above TMB, and then there was a marker above Blue's head. Normally you would have to switch places because they swap. So one of them was a stack marker, and then one of them was a getaway marker. But because we have such incredible gear, you can see that we took no damage from that, and you can see that our health is 100. Mine is 135,000. TMB's is 111,000. Saba's is 194,000. So that is the utility of the Echo. and that if you're a pig, get off of the.
Oh, okay.
That is fine.
Yeah, we're
That's
supposed
okay.
to stack each other on top of each other. That's why I try to go to you.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
It happens. So there are. That's another fun part about unsyncing content is that sometimes if you disrespect the mechanics, sometimes you can still die to them because they have a pass fail to them. And we unfortunately did not kill her fast enough that we did not kill her fast enough to where we could respect that one in particular. But we're gonna break this chain, and then I'm gonna come back in here, and she's gonna be gone. There we go. Yay! So
Yay!
some of the mechanics you can ignore because you don't have to respect them, and then some of them like that. So there was the Doritos, what we call Dorito markers. They're not called that, but we as a community call them the Dorito markers on top of people's heads. If you do not stack together with a partner that also shares a Dorito, you are possibly eligible to get a debuff that comes on. For that one, that was the pig. And then she does the game, and so she lights up parts of the arena here. And you were supposed to stand in the spot that corresponds to the job that you have. But if you get transformed into a pig, you can't do that. So then you just disrespect it, and you get to be sacrificed. So even if you unsync it, sometimes you do have pass fails to where, unfortunately, no matter how good your gear is, you just get to be sacrificed, and that's okay. Also, in each of these sets of 4 raids, where it goes 1 through 4, 4 through 8, and then 9 through 12, at the end of each of them, they have rewards that you can get. So for each of these tiers, specifically the Savage tier, there's a unique mount that drops from each of these. We're going to next be doing the next set of the series, which is going to be Deltascape 4. At the end of this one, you will see that we will have, we are eligible to get a mount drop. Only one person in the group can win the mount roll, but by doing this with your friends, and you can do this very quickly if you're a max level, you can all go back and get mounts from the old raid series. So even if you're not interested in doing it with only 4 people and you want it to go faster and you want to use 8 people, you can do this with your friends at home and go get yourselves mounts from the old raid series, which are really cool. They're very awesome and sparkly sometimes. So this next one, Deltascape 4, is going to be a little bit different. It requires a little bit more focus for part 2. This one has mechanics we actually have to respect in the second part. The first part doesn't matter, and this has 2 phases. Hello, X-Death. How's it going, buddy? What a lad.
True. This is some fashion.
He's blinged up.
Mm-hmm.
He's very blinged up.
I'm into it.
So because this fight has 2 parts to it, I'm gonna go ahead and use what we call our 2-minute burst. Mine is Arcane Circle that you just saw me use there. So what this does, it gives a party boost, and it comes back up every 2 minutes. When we kill him at the first part here, we're going to transition back into another phase afterwards, and then we are going to jump off the arena and reset it, and it will reset our 2-minute burst, so we are able to use them on the next set. He's already down, but one of us has to stay on the arena for the transition. Also, this transition is really cool, so we're gonna do this, and we're gonna watch the transition. It's very cool. This is the best transition, the boss transition in the game, and I'll take no questions.
Yeah, I love this transition a lot.
It is very good. So while the transition is happening, so every 4th set in a raid series, the 4, 8, and 12, will be a 2-part fight. So what this means is we're in the middle of the fight transition. You can see that the arena has changed. You can see that the floor has changed around us, that the walls around us have changed. And there will be a second phase of the boss. So this means at this point, if we were to not make it and our HP were to hit 0, or we were to be sacrificed for a mechanic and then just unfortunately all of us, our HP hit 0, it resets to the beginning of this part of the fight. We do not have to do the first part of the fight again at all. And just watch him fly. This is really cool.
This is very sick.
It is
Wow.
cinematically very beautiful.
Yeah.
And because of this phase transition, you have to wait for the phase to fully transition, the boss to become targetable, and you need to hit one hit on him, and then we're gonna jump off the arena to reset our HP to 0 and reset the instance. Okay, so there's a couple of reasons that we, I'm gonna explain kind of what's going on here first, and then you can give us a countdown. I'll let you know when to count down, Saba.
Okay.
So there's a couple of reasons we picked this fight. In particular, hello, it's X Death. This is so cool. It's Neo X Death. This is so cool. But also that this boss mechanically has a couple of really cool mechanics that even if you were to unsync it with 8 people, you do have to respect the first one, which is going to be Grand Cross Alpha. So he will, once his HP hits a certain spot, he's going to start casting Grand Cross Alpha. We will all be stacking in the middle of the arena where I've placed this lovely A marker here, because he will give us a debuff called Hysteria. And Hysteria causes us to walk in a random direction from wherever we are standing. We want to stand in the center of the arena to make sure that we do not accidentally walk off, because you have seen what happens if we walk off. Our HP will be set at 0, and we will spawn at the south of the arena here. And luckily, blue is able to resurrect us if we do need it, but we hopefully won't need that at all. And then afterwards, we are going to get a colored debuff, which we will have to stand on the opposite side of the arena from 2 huge triangle or orb that will spawn, to make sure that we do not take any damage from the debuff, because even unsynced, it does massive amounts of damage and will cause your HP to hit 0. There's also going to be possibly an acceleration bomb which sets off. I do not think we'll see the second instance of the mechanic, which is going to be Grand Cross Omega. But hopefully not. And then there will be Allegan Field. And Allegan Field is a debuff in which any damage that you take while you have Allegan Field will deal raid-wide damage to the other members in your party. But because we're unsynced, it will do like no damage to us because we have a lot of health, as you can see. So yeah, those are just like the interesting mechanics that will come up during the first big, what we call a big boy mechanic during this fight. But everything else we can pretty much just ignore, and we will damage through it. Alright, just make sure you have the food up just for funsies, friends. Then Saba, you can give us a countdown. Oh, also countdowns. That's a cool thing to explain. So countdowns allow us to have a timer on the screen that lets us know when we should start attacking all at once. This is important for things like I explained earlier, the 2-minute burst. This allows us to sync all of these up together and have the most damage output together. So that's just something really important to do. Saba is also going to turn the boss model for us. So yeah, if the person who has main threat stands in a very particular place with the boss at the front of the arena, the boss's model moves, and it's so funny to watch his model spin. And you can do that during certain mechanics. Not all of them, but for the most part, you should be able to do them through a lot of the mechanics. Oh, sorry, Grand Cross Alpha's the first one. We're gonna stack in the center, friends. I got Delta first, my bad. You can see that I have off balance, so any damage that I take will cause me to go backwards. We're gonna stack in the center, friends. And then opposite color debuffs. Opposite color debuffs. We did it! Let's go! So as long as you respect a couple of the mechanics that come out, you will be able to survive even with a bunch of health. And you can see that I disrespected several of them and still managed to make it. And even you can see that TMB stood next to Saba during what we call a tank buster and survived. So that's really funny and cool. Oh no, blue!
I forgot to go center.
Yeah, I forgot to go center. I'm sorry. I should have called that out for you. Spin his model.
No, that's my fault.
Spin his model. Yeah.
I was focused on the XO players.
This is a lot of brain power to remember what to do for all of these different parts and phases, and it's very impressive to watch.
I'm scared to ignore this. Okay, no, we did it. We did it. Okay, we're good. I was like, oh no, Delta's casting. Are we gonna ignore this?
Always commit.
I was scared. I was scared to commit. I'm sorry, TMB. So as you can see, TMB opens the coffers here, and so every time you go back and clear these, whether you clear them synced or unsynced, you're eligible to win these rewards that drop. There will always be what we call a weapon coffer and a chest coffer. There is a minion, and there is one of the mounts. This is the Alt Voigt Prism. This is the Danger Noodle, actually. So if you've seen people on the little blue Danger Noodle in the game, that's where you get this from, is O4S. And then a random weapon that would normally spawn from a weapon coffer will randomly drop also. So if you don't win the weapon coffer, if your class's weapon drop, you can get it. This is something you can do with your friends. You can unsync this. You can just grab a couple of your friends and do it. You can do it just 4. There's actually been solo clears with just a tank clearing this by themselves. So yeah, if you think those things are cool and you want to grab them, you can do this with your friends. Oh, everyone's on there. Okay, you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna get on mine too. Hold on. I have to find mine. There it is. Okay, this is the mount that dropped. That would have dropped from that fight. This is the Danger Noodle. So if you think that's cool, you can go do it with your friends. You don't need to do the super cool party comp we have. You can take 2 tanks, 2 healers, 4 DPS, as is normally intended for that fight. You can also just do it synced instead of unsynced, however you like to do it. But you can win this cool mount, which I think is really
It is
nifty.
really cool. I like it.
I see Saba has the fire Danger Noodle. I'm very
so
upset.
cute.
I don't have mine yet, unfortunately. But okay. All right, the next one is going to be a really short thing. We just want to really quickly go in and do the first pull of this particular dungeon, because you can do this. You can do this with a normal party comp. You don't need to do a particular one for this. So I'm gonna switch to White Mage, and then TMB and Blue and Saba will stay on their respective classes, and we're going to go into the dungeon Mount Gulg. This is from the Shadowbringers expansion. This is a level 79 dungeon, and we will be going into the Synced. We're going to do what we call the Mega Pull at the beginning of this dungeon. So as you saw earlier in Satasha, there was a wall that separated us from going forward until we flipped the switch, and there was also walls that stopped us from continuing after we hit certain amounts of mobs. In this part of Mount Gulg, there is no barrier stopping us. We will be able to pull everything inside of this next section up here. So we're all going to hit sprint, we're all going to run forward, and Saba is going to pull all of these mobs, and we're going to continue all the way through until the end. There is going to be a literal wall after this, but we're going to pull everything. The game, pacing-wise, does not intend for you to do this at all. This is a very coordinated effort, and if you try to do this in PF with, or not Party Finder, if you try to do this in Duty Finder with random people, it's probably not going to turn out well. But because we're all friends and we're all coordinating here together, we can very safely make this pull here. And this is also something you can do with your friends, and this makes the dungeon go just a little bit faster. Once you park, I'm going to switch Cast Holy.
There's so many burbs. There's so many. Holy cow.
And because Saba...
Sorry, Dilla.
Okay. I'm on my last holy. This stun is over. You can pull home game whenever. If your mitigations run out again, I don't know if they're gonna run out.
That should be good.
And look at that, Saba didn't even need to use his invulnerability. So we basically just coordinated to where we can just very quickly, we don't have to do the pacing, we don't have to do any of the normal stuff. We just did the full pull, all by ourselves, as a friend group, holding hands, skipping through.
Do you want to keep going for this, or?
I think we can leave and we can do Smelton instead, because we'll be going back to our 3 DPS 1 tank comp. But that's the monstrous pull of Mountain Gold, because there's no barrier. You by yourself can do the full pull with your friends if you coordinate it well. Don't try it with strangers. I would say don't try it at home, but you're at home trying this, so.
That was very cool.
Yeah, it's just something that if you feel feisty, if you feel like, you feel that you're feeling a little dangerous, you can just do that. I'm going to go back to my Reaper set. And we are going to do something from the current expansion. We are going to be going through the dungeon Smileton with 1 tank, 3 DPS to show that even in current content, you don't have to go back and unsync old content. You can do it in current content.
Yeah, don't do that poll. Yeah, don't do that poll with random people that you get just from like if you get yourself into leveling roulette and you get Mount Gold. Don't do that poll with just random people. It will not go well. You will probably
don't do that. Like ask your healer. Be like, hey, do you want to do the full one? And if they say no, respect your healer's opinions because they are keeping you on this plane of existence with us. Just don't do that with random people, but do it with your friends. Ask your friends. Be like, hey, can we try this? I saw this on Hotfix show. Can we do this? And then they'll be like, yeah, it'll be great.
You always gotta respect the healers. Rule number 1.
Rule number 1. I love doing that. Like if I ever get Mountain Gold and a tank asks me if they can do it, I'm like, and I'm healing, I'm like, oh yeah, go for it. Rip it. I trust you. Let's go. So this is Smileton. This is a dungeon in the current expansion in Walker. So we are all at our normal level 90 with all of our normal abilities. This is completely as intended. We are synced to the as you can see. I have 630 eye level and I am just in my normal gear. You can see that we are all doing this as we are supposed to, but because of the way that this game is and functions, you can very quickly just do a lot of damage to these mobs, and Saba has enough self-healing and mitigations that we're not going to need a healer for this dungeon at all. You very quickly see that we are just demolishing. We're absolutely demolishing them. Warrior is a broken tank in this game. Warrior has so much self-healing that in almost all level 90 dungeons, they can do what we call wall-to-wall, which is pulling all the packs here. They can do a full wall-to-wall, and they almost always never need a healer to ever do it on them. With any heals, any of their own mitigations, warriors can generally use their own healing and mitigations and be completely fine. Which is a wild thing to think about, that you have an entire class of jobs that just are considered obsolete with one other class in the game. That's a very silly thing to think about, but it is true, and that is how it works. And it's part of the reason that we have taken Saba as a warrior through all of this, is that warrior just has so much self-healing capabilities that we are able to do this and just go as fast as possible because of it. Because I don't need to be on a healer. Like Blue doesn't need to be on a healer. TMB doesn't need to be on a healer. We can just all DPS and go.
This area is really pretty. I like the aesthetics of this a ton. It looks so different from the places we've been before. Really like it.
They're all very cool and interesting. So as you can see that there are things on the side of the arenas which just gave us debuffs. We are going to have to alternate the debuffs here. So if you had the red frowny face, you need the blue smiley face, and vice versa. And we will have to alternate this for the rest of this fight right here. These lines right here that also light up bright orange also are death walls. So if you take damage in them, you're probably going to make your character's HP go 0, which we don't want, obviously. But if you just need some quick money or some quick gear, or you just want to hang out with your friends, you need some poetics or anything like that. Wait, these give the old tomes, right? Something like that. you can just do this with your friends very quickly, just all together. While you're still slightly respecting the mechanics that go on. But as you can see, like, the boss's health is just melting. We would see these flip, and we would have to do the inverse of we would watch all of these flip again, but he goes down very quickly, and then he lets us go forward, which is very nice. So if anybody doesn't want to know the lore of this place, I guess mute your audio for a second, because we're going to talk a little bit about the lore of this location, because this place is really cool. So we're in a dungeon that is based on a piece of lore from Endwalker, that we're on the moon, and we are in a place that the Loperates built for us, so that we are able to escape from the world ending, because of course this is a Final Fantasy game, and it wouldn't be a Final Fantasy game without possibly the world ending, right? So the Loperates, which are the little bunny characters that you're gonna see pop in and out and around here, built this location, and this dungeon is themed around it. Some of the area names are also going to have very silly things that are going to be set on them. So this is going to be the block of dreams. Hey, there's a Loperate right here. Hey, buddy. There's a little Loperate right there. So these little
I love the
Loperates,
sorry later. It's so cute.
yeah, they we'll get to a section that'll say like "oops under construction" or "sorry under construction."
Yeah, it's so cute.
It's very funny. But this place is kind of like one of those like walking up the sideways stairs kind of places, where all of the places in the dungeon will move around and open for us as we continue forward. And it just visually is one of the, I think, coolest dungeons in Endwalker, to be quite honest. When we were talking about content we wanted to show off, this was like, I believe this was TMB's suggestion. Correct me if I'm wrong, TMB?
Yeah, it was. I really like this dungeon because, like I was saying before, the MSQ, Endwalker is the end of the main story period that FF14 was trying to tell. And so the very ending is super, super emotional. And then the very next dungeon you do is this, which is like a jazz-based, super goofy dungeon that doesn't take itself seriously at all. So it helps alleviate the emotions of the MSQ for you.
That's good. It's good to have kind of highs and lows in terms of, you know, the emotional impact of stuff. So that's smart.
So she's going to do an ability called Leap Forward, in which she is going to run forward and do an AoE wherever she's going to leap. We are going to see this duplicated several more times with the robots that are here. They are going to print copies of her and going to do the same mechanic. So we're going to just going to very quickly assess where they're going to be. They're going to be in the south part of the arena, and we're just going to say parked right here. We don't have to move because we got lucky.
That's always this pattern first.
Is it
this
really?
Is the next. This, yeah.
That
This
shows
is
you
gonna
how much I
change
pay attention to this dungeon, to be quite honest.
Don't need skill, just be lucky.
Yeah, just get lucky, yeah. So those were cross pizza slices. So you just go into the second one that shows up and then set back into where it was previously unsafe. And then you just solve the mechanic. I wish she would move. Come on. Yay, she moved. Let's go. And as you can see, again, the boss is just absolutely melting in HP. You can see at the top of the frameworker's name here, but you can also see in the bottom of my screen there above my abilities that just HP and nothing, just absolutely nothing. Usually you see those workers print several more versions of themselves, and you will actually see the light worker will also do another jump at some point, but we don't see any of that because we're just going zoomies. We're going really fast.
Construction, sorry.
Sorry?
It's under construction, sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That was the area. Each of the areas in the dungeon's name will have a name that pops up on screen, and this one is "Oops, sorry, under construction." And you can see the printed workers all trying to build different parts of the dungeon here, which I think is really cool. I always take something to show off something for a meme.
how long does learning, all these kind of different strategies and things and stuff like that, work? I guess it depends differently per, thing you're trying to do. But what's y'all's strategy for learning this and working on it together?
Trial and error.
All the dungeons that are like max level dungeons, when you are max level for that content, you end up doing them generally hundreds of times through the roulette system they have in the game. So most of this you just basically memorize just by being forced to do it as part of the content loop grind of this game.
Cool, that makes a lot of sense. You just get super familiar with all the things you're going to be encountering. Very cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of this game that you just end up playing naturally over time, and then you'll be like me and Saba and Blue and TMB, where we're just a friend group who've been playing this game together for long enough that we all trust each other, and we know enough about our classes and what we're doing that we feel comfortable doing this kind of stuff together. It's just kind of something you naturally learn over time. Some people also just do challenge runs of things just because they think that it's interesting. You definitely can just see what we're doing, and even if you don't know much about the game and you've never tried just going in with different party compositions, you just try it yourself, trial and error, and just figure it out. So there are going to be blocks on the side of the arena, and then you're going to see arrows spawn close to them. Those arrows indicate how far they're going to move. 3 arrows means it is going to move far, and 1 arrow means it is going to move not as far. And then we're just going to use those patterns to avoid where those are going to blow up, and they blow up in huge AoEs. The damage won't do a lot to us, but over time will probably feel a little icky. Thank you for blowing that up, TMB. You're the best. We're gonna go left side here. So that bomb that TMB stepped on gives you a damage or a vulnerability up and a paralysis. You are intentionally supposed to not hit that. It like even gives you a little marker above it and says like foot. No, don't step on bad. But sometimes we pop them just because we feel like it. Immediately after these little bombs are going to go to their section, he's going to do right disassembler, which, as you can see there, he cleaved the right side of the arena. It is his right. It is not your right. But that's something to think about sometimes in these dungeons or sometimes in these fights, that these bosses will do mechanics relative to their position. So you have to be like, oh, if it says right, I can go to my right because they're going to be cleaving to my left, which is their right, which sounds silly and very confusing. But and he's called the Big Cheese, by the way. He has a very silly name. It's kind of hard to see his name because his name is too large.
Oh, you should have just let me do it. I would have popped it without taking damage.
I wasn't going to move. I'm going to be real with you. I was just going to be like, if I get hit, I get hit.
That was the Big Cheese.
That's such a good name for a boss. I'm obsessed.
Okay. I was going to see if the minion dropped, but the minion did not drop. That's okay. I also actually already have the minion, so oops. I guess I could have sold it otherwise. But that's one piece of content that is in the current expansion of the game that you can do with your friends at any point. You can just do it with 3 DPS and 1 tank if you're feeling like it, and you can do it with other tanks too. You can try your luck and see how it goes. You can try with other DPS. It doesn't have to be 2 melees and a caster. It can be any composition. It could be like you could do a dancer and a machinist and a dragoon, or you could do a black mage and a red mage and a bard. However you'd like to do it, it's totally up to you. All right. How are we looking on time, Frozen?
All right, let's see. It looks like I will see what we're at. We're about, I think 50-ish minutes. So
okay,
we're approaching our first break.
Okay. I think we could probably do Lapis Spinalis in that time.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Crew? All right. For the sake of our safety, and because I I don't trust myself. I am also going to switch to a different class. I'm gonna switch back to my white mage because there's a mechanic inside of this dungeon that is a little scary. And if you fail the mechanic and get hit, you get a doom stack that needs to be cleansed for you not to get to 0 HP after it goes off. But I don't trust myself, so I'm gonna go in on a healer. So this is just...
I have resurrection as a cleanse. It's all good.
But what if you accidentally get hit too?
I'm not gonna get hit. I'm
gonna go on healer. I just don't trust myself, and that's okay.
All right.
So we're gonna show you how pretty intentionally you can do something now. We showed off a lot of like, here's how you can cheese some stuff, and here's how you can unsync it, and here's how you just don't do it the way the game intends you to do. But I thought it would be really funny if we just did one thing this entire time to show you how to intentionally do something. So we're gonna do Lapis Finalis, which is the last dungeon that came out with the last big patch 6.3. Again, if you haven't done this, I guess it's spoilers, but also like we're not gonna watch any of the cutscenes or look at any of the text, so technically not spoilers, but
Let's get it. I'm excited.
this place is also really aesthetically cool. It's very aesthetically cool.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
It is very fun. Also, there's we didn't get to see too much of it because once you immediately pull aggro, it goes away. But they have added a portrait system to this game now. So if you set up a very pretty picture, when you start a dungeon, you can see everybody's really pretty pictures. I'll bring them back up once we are done with this set of enemies. But it's just really cool that you can spend time doing the best part of the game, which is the fashion part of this game, and wear cool outfits, and then take pictures and get to show them to people. So this dungeon is part of the current main story quest, MSQ for short, in the current expansion Endwalker. This helps tie into some story that is currently still being set up and finished for Endwalker. So even though we're at the main end of the story, like what is our original quest is over, there's still more content to be done, there's more story to be told, there's still more characters to meet, there's still new mysteries to be solved, and this is just carrying on and continuing that storyline that is carrying on after the main end of Endwalker. A lot of this area is a part of or a direct reference to Garlemald, which is part of the area that we are currently exploring in the main story quest of Endwalker. So as you can see, there's these beautiful glaciers, and there's all this frost-covered trees. Garlemald is technically what would be considered a northern part of Eorzea, and just has a lot of snow, a lot of this ice, a lot of this mountains, and it's just a very beautiful area to look at. So this first part is just so aesthetically pleasing. And I love this dungeon. Every time I get it in roulette, it's just such a blast.
If you go back where we came from too, you can see the Tower of Babel still in the distance as well.
That is true. There is another dungeon that was earlier in this expansion called the Tower of Babel that EMB just mentioned in reference that we can see in the distance, which is really cool. So this is how normally you would do what we would call pulls or defeat packs, that there's walls in between them, and you can only defeat so many of them at once. And this is usually what a normal DPS composition would look like, of how fast or slow we would be dealing with these enemies. And honestly, I didn't heal Saba that much. I wasn't really paying attention because I was talking, which is good because Saba doesn't need my help, to be honest. Saba can just heal himself.
Saba's going off. It's fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine. So Call of the Mountain is a thing where some of the sides of the arena are going to go off, and then there are going to be enemies that are going to run through it, and we need to avoid being hit by it. And then you can see all the animals. Hello, animals. Hi. He calls to them, and they're going to pop up. And there's going to be another line of them right next to us, which is really funny and fun to look at. They're just zooming. Look at them. They're also speedrunning. Hello, friends. They're just going zoomies. Right slam, this is the boss's right, so we're gonna stand on this side since this is left. And that's another instance of the whole, like, you have to think, oh, it's the boss's right, but not my right, but I can go right because the right is safe, kind of, like, line of thinking.
Or slam.
Starboard slam, larboard slam. And there's just always, like, several different mechanics that go off, so you can see that AoE went off on us, and then they dropped one in our place, and then we just have to hide behind one of these, we have to hide behind one of these rocks before the roar goes off. Because there are safe spaces. They are very cozy and made just for us. Oh, did it disrespect you on the...
I thought I waited long enough, I did not.
That is unfortunate. So Saba got a bone stack because this game is very silly, and even though you will be in what you think is the right spot on your screen, Starboard Slam, you'll think you'll be on the right spot on your screen, but then the game will do what we call snapshotting, and will say that you were in the wrong place at the wrong time before it is able to, before you were able to register that you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's one of the quirky things about this game and something we all love, right, friends? Love
So true. I'm on board. Absolutely. I love that about this game.
Getting server ticked is the, like, bane of every Raider's existence. Because you'd be like, I was in the right spot, and the game, like, registers where... So, like, we call it something silly, like getting server ticked or, like, snapshotting. So that just means that just the game registers that you were in a place by the server's communication before you were able to get to a place in time. Or it'll be the inverse, is you think it is snapshot you in the right place, and it didn't actually do that at all. It, like, for whatever reason, it decided not to function the way that you think it functions, and you just you get oopsied into a Vuln stack, or you get oopsied into sacrificing all of your party members because you messed up something, and then you all failed the mechanic.
Surely no one would stand in their own twister.
No one would stand in their own... Okay, oh, hold on. hold on. I'm starting to have flashbacks to you, Coop. Please don't do this to me. Please don't. Oh, gosh. Like, just do a showcase of dying to Twister memes for 2 hours for a whole lockout in UCOB, just casually. I was like, oh, well, we're gonna show up in Ultimate on stream, don't worry, and then it's just watching everybody die to Twisters for 2 hours.
Surely no one would try to greed during nail on in out.
No one would do that, right? No one would also surely call it backwards either. No, I definitely haven't done that. You can see I'm playing with fire here, and I'm on the very edge of that bright AoE. I was technically in the right spot. So something very unique to this game, and I don't think that we've touched on at all or mentioned, is that hitboxes for this game are not based on the model of your character, or they're not. Your hitbox is not the feet of your character. It is a single pixel in the center of your character's feet. So you would play this game and you would think, oh, like, if part of the model of my foot is in the hitbox, or in the AoE here, I'm going to get hit. No, as long as the pixel at the center of your feet is not, you're fine. You're not going to get hit.
Why is it there?
I don't know. I have no idea.
What? That's so silly.
Yeah, so if you, like, I could put, like, my model of my foot could be in that AoE and it'd be fine, but the center of my feet, the pixel of my hitbox was not, so I was safe.
What the heck? That's really funny.
So this is the mechanic that I was scared to bring. I was scared to bring in non-healer for. So this is a Scarecrow Chase. So what this does is there are portals that spawn on the edges of the arena where Galatea spawns them. And then does that cross pattern on them. If you get clipped by one of them, not only do they do a lot of damage, they put what we call a cleansable Doom debuff on you. Doom functions the same way it does in traditional Final Fantasy, that once the timer goes down, your HP hits 0 and you must be resurrected afterwards. But this is cleansable. So there is a ability in the game called Esuna right here on my hotbar on my 5 that will cleanse a debuff as long as it has a blue bar that hangs on top of it. So all cleansable debuffs in this game have an indicator that they are able to be cleansed. But I am scared to pass that mechanic, to be honest. So I brought a healer so I could cleanse it. I get it right most of the time, but then I second guess myself because of this second version right here, because there's going to be 4 portals this time, and I always get really nervous about where to go.
Stay middle for 2. And then go to Cardinal. And then go back to middle. That's it.
Look, I'm very nervous, V, and I'm glad you called it out, but I was like, do I know how to do this mechanic? But I was also trying to pan my camera in a way that like it could show everybody how to do it, and I was trying to solve it at the same time, so that's really fun. But we did it, yay!
Nice job. Very nice. That was cool.
Someone mentioned it in the chat, but yeah, there used to not be an indicator to that debuffs were cleansable. You just kind of had to figure it out and find out which debuffs were cleansable or not, which was very funny for attempting to prog old content. And by prog we mean like learning and learning the fight and learning how to play it on your job and how like all the mechanics work is called progressing, or prog for short is what we raiders call it. But now we have that indicator, so now I know if I oopsie and get a debuff that I can cleanse, I can just cleanse it. This is just really cozy. This is just what you do with your friends on the weekends. Like, honestly, before I started having wrist issues, it would usually be like me or Saba or Blue and DMB just hanging out in like a voice call or just doing whatever, and we'd be like, hey, roulettes, anybody need to do their dailies? And we would just all get on and just do this together. This is one of the dungeons that you can get in the current sets of roulettes. And in this game, there are roulettes. So they are all catered to different sections of content in the game. There's 50, 60, 70, 80 dungeons. There is trials. There's normal raids. There's alliance raids. And what this means is that you can queue up for these and you will get a piece of content from that section at random. And they give you daily rewards for these. So it's just to encourage people to come back and continue to play the game to get rewards for either money or for materia or for current tomestones. It also helps new players. So if you get a piece of content that you're unlocked while you're doing the main story quests and you're like, I don't have a lot of friends to do this with, you can still queue up for that content and it will pull people from the roulettes. So what we'll do is we'll just all hop in a party together and we'll do this 4-person dungeon content together, or with however many friends we have, and then we will go and do content that requires sometimes 8 people together, or even 24. And it's just a good way to keep not only the game's content healthy and rotating, but just to encourage people to come back and keep playing. So Cagnazo is going to do Stygian Deluge, which is a raid wine. Does a little bit of damage. It's just a little bit of ouchies. Which, if I came on Red Mage, Blue and I would be able to heal ourselves up, because we both have abilities called Physic and Ver Cure, which allows us to heal. So there's these big bubbles you're going to see pop up here. They're going to make big AoEs come down. We're going to want to get out of these AoEs and then knock back away from this last set that are going to come down. Yay, we've done it.
Nice. Also, this music's so good. I love this track.
He is going to be zooming across the screen. We should be able to... We'll have to move out of the AoE at the end here. I wanted to be cool and show off that I can move in time, but everybody else could stick in that little corner there. They didn't have to move to the mechanic at all, because he zoomies across the screen. and would hit us, and there's also the AoE, so you have to remember where he's zooming and where the AoEs are going to be going off, and make sure you're not standing in any of them. And I remember when this dungeon first unlocked, I was just like, what is going on? And by the time that I processed what he was doing, I had a lot of debuffs, and I think if I didn't die, I probably was very close to it. Unfortunately.
Don't stack with me.
Okay. Saba has the stack marker, and he has politely requested that we do not stack with him, because he is going to be able to take all that damage for himself. We do not need to respect this mechanic. He can just heal through it, which is just another example of like how Warrior is just a very overpowered tank.
Selfish, honestly.
It is my stack. It was made for me.
I'm not even gonna put a silent down. That just looks visually. It was, honestly.
What? That's not right.
I love these bosses. They're so fun.
The best.
So now he's gonna do Void Cleaver, and he is going to tether us to these tears that he is going to open. And we have to point these away from the party and move out of them once the cones pop up. But because TMB is a melee, we're going to let him stay close to the arena, and also Saba, because Saba's got to play chicken, I guess. And Saba has the caution tape marker, so now Saba is going to take a huge cleave attack. But he's a tank; he can take that. He'll be fine. Now that is Lapis Manalis. Normal piece of content you can do with your friends, as intended. You don't even need to do it funny. You can do it funny. You can do 1 tank 3 DPS, but I'm silly baby and I did not trust myself. Honestly.
Nice job. Sweet. I think that means it's gonna be time for our first break, and then we'll come back and show something totally different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. You want to give people a teaser as to what we're gonna look forward to after the break?
We are going to be doing a 4-man run of Delubrum Reginae Normal. This is intended as it was released as a 24-man piece of content, and you get the Echo, which is a huge buff at 8 or less people. We're going to be taking some really cool essences, and we're going to be finishing it really fast with just the 4 of us.
Sweet. I am so excited for that. So we're going to be going to a quick break before we get to see that, and we're actually going to start queuing up for it, which is fun.
Yeah, it's a 10-minute mandatory wait queue, so we're going to have to start it now.
We're actually going to like scoot over there right now, but hope you all have been enjoying. Like, please stick around after the break for even more Final Fantasy stuff. And one last announcement before we go. GDQ is returning to PAX East 2023, March 23rd through 26th, so this upcoming week, actually. And if you happen to be going, be sure to check out the speedrun stage. And yeah, that's all from us. We're going to head to a break, and we'll see you right after this. Hello everyone, welcome back to It's Dangerous to Go Alone, our celebration of co-op runs here on GDQ Hotfix. We've been showcasing something totally different. We've been watching Final Fantasy XIV Online, MMO speedrun content. It's been really, really fun. We did a bunch of different dungeons and raids and stuff like that. So now we're going to dive into something completely different that we're actually sitting in the queue for. So I'll throw it back over to our runners to kind of, tell us what we're about to be doing.
Yeah, hi. So, welcome back to the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV. We're going to be going into Delubrum Reginae Normal, not Savage, unfortunately, not today. The normal version. This is a 24-man piece of content that revolves around the Bozja timeline and the Bozja content in 14 that was released during Shadowbringers or Stormblood, one of the two. I always get them mixed up. I'm very sorry. Shadowbringers, thank you. Both expansion names starts with the S, and it's very confusing. It released during Shadowbringers, sorry. And it was when it was released, it was intended that 24 people can just queue up for it all together, or you just queued up for it regularly and you got paired with 23 other people and did the content. But now, because it is no longer the hip happening, and you only really use it for relic grinding, you can just queue in with as many people as you'd like. There have been solo attempts of Delubrum Reginae normal. There have been 4 people attempts, which we are, well, not attempts, but 4 people clears, which we are going to do. You can take as many people as you would like. You just need to split up the parties into however many you can take. So we're going to be going in with just the 4 of us. Going into Delubrum Reginae. So normally, like I said, 24 people, but if you have 8 people or less that go into this instance, you get a buff called the Echo. The Echo gives you higher DPS, higher HP, and just makes it incredibly easy for you to clear this content. We're going to be pairing the Echo with the things that are unique to Boja content. They are called the Lost Finds. So in Boja, you have all of these abilities here that you will be able to get and find while you do this content. They all do different things, as you can see as I highlight over any of them. They all have to some degree mimic abilities you might already have in the game, like Lost Cure 3, Lost Cure 2, Lost Arise. They will mimic things that you already have available to you in the game, but they all have a catch to them, and they will tell you here in the bottom of the pop-up window. It says affinity, and then it'll say PLD, WAR, like Paladin, Warrior. They can only be used by certain classes, and this is to help encourage different classes to take on this content. So by being able to make these abilities wider to different classes in the game, it just really gets a really different amount of jobs and classes to go into this content. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking combinations of these essences and these actions with us into this content to be able to do as much damage as we can very quickly. As you can see, we have 2 DPS and 2 tanks. So because of this, it doesn't actually really matter too much what job you take in, as long as you know that you have a combination of your essences, which are going to be these little vials down here, and then your actions, which are going to be these sections up here, that will do a lot of damage. In particular, I know I am going to be taking Deep Essence of the Ordained and Lost Flare Star and Lost Chain Spell. This will allow me to not only put a heavy bleed on the boss with Lost Flare Star, but under Lost Chain Spell, I will be able to cast my spells with no cast time. Blue, are you taking a regular still, or are you taking something else?
No, I'm going to take a pure. Also, just to additional and unique to Boja, there's Save the Queen area. They have different equips, and they give you haste status, and the haste status allows you to also use your abilities a lot faster too. So with the combination of like all of that, we're going to be using like really, really, really big numbers very often. So
I do believe I do have my Bojan earring. I do not have...
Yes, please equip it.
I guess I could do that, that's fine. I'll do that, that's fine. The haste will be fine.
There's 3 tiers. There's the first tier, which you get from doing the Castrum Lactus Latour. You get these Bojan secrets, different parts of the gear, head, body, chest, feet, and arms, I believe. I think I said the hand. They do haste +1. Then for DRN, or what we're doing now, we get silver coins, and you exchange 100 of them for 1 gold coin, and 2 gold coins gets a piece of a Law's Order, and they do haste +2 for each of the 5. Then DRS from Savage, you can get orderlies from the same thing, and then you exchange that with Law's Order from DRN, and you get +3, and that's the highest you can go.
This is
Very
really cool.
cool.
That
I'm excited to see this. This is gonna be really interesting.
And it's going to be a lot different than what we were doing before, where there's going to be a lot of like structure to it. This is going to be these are just going to be just straight bosses, like one after another, after another, after another. There's not going to be like little packs to pull. There's not going to be like much in the transition areas. There is going to be something interesting that we will point out. It happens after the first boss, and then happens again after the 3rd boss. So there's going to be traps on the floor that we are going to have to avoid. Normally you would take this action here called Lost Perception, which detects traps within a radius of 15 yalms of you, which we learned yesterday is apparently equivalent to the height of a Lalafell. Thank you, Think Fast, for that piece of knowledge, apparently. But it would detect traps within 15 yalms of you, but we're not going to take this. We're going to just show off how you can just have a tank run through it either with their invulnerability or without it. And just if you follow in a straight line behind them, you will never trigger any of the traps because you already know where they are.
Yeah, with the raise, especially from Zadna, which I introduced raise, with 10 raise of fortitude, I think it's called, and you're pure, you don't need even mitigation. You could just run through a trap and it does like 3/4 of your health. That's it.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
There's the explosion traps, there's like the poison traps. They don't like, the biggest one is the explosion traps, which would normally knock most players' HP to 0, but you can just...
another thing. So in content, when you do dungeons or raids, you used to do like your limit break, which is like this big damage that's unique to, depending on the class of DPS, like whether you're a caster or a melee or a P range. But in DRN, we do so much more damage than a limit break that actually DPS limit break is negative damage. So,
and by negative damage,
if you're doing if you're doing pure, I'll just do regular then.
I'll go pure. I'll demonstrate the traps.
I already, apparently the last time I came in here was on Red Mage because I already had Lost Flare Star and Lost Font of Magic already ready to go. That's really funny. That's so funny. That is just so funny. I'm gonna pop a re-raiser and then grab a second one. So this is Delubrum Reginae normal. As you can see, there was another Lost Finds cache for us to go through. I quickly popped one of my items, which was my Resistance Re-Raiser, which means I now have a chance of reviving upon my 0 HP unfortunate oopsies I messed up instance. I'm going to carry an extra one in my pocket here just in case that I do mess up. I don't think that I will. But I think it'll be fun.
DRN, the damage technically doesn't matter. So how this whole entire dungeon is, if you fail a mechanic, you get like a twice come ruin stack, which, as it says, you get 1, it's fine, it's like a warning. But if you get 2, you get doom, and you just instantly die. So raid-wise, since we're doing have echo, they're not going to do literally anything to us. It's just a matter of we can't fail mechanics. So the biggest one in Trinity Seeker is called Mercy Fourfold, which he's doing right now. Which also, this is, if you remember Ravana, it's the exact same Ravana kind of model. So he's going to flash his swords, and we're just going to be on the opposite side of the swords. See the cleaves. And he's going to just do a bunch of different mechanics. So this one's going to be Hot Wing first. Hot Wing from Nidhogg. So we want to be in the center.
Yep.
And he's going to jump in the center, and we're going to go behind a barricade. Because if we're not behind a barricade, we're going to get a wonderful Doom stack. So, Ruin stack, excuse me. So we're gonna hide behind the barricade. Back to damaging him. Phantom Edge is literally nothing. So now he's got glowy swords. Glowy swords means we're going to be pushed back. So now we're going to get knocked into a barricade.
I like the glowy swords.
I think this is now stack. This is a stack. So we're gonna stack.
This is an AoE stack, but Saba's just, it's gonna be a Line Cleave stack, but Saba's just gonna take it by himself. He doesn't need us. He's just gonna home gang through it, showing how strong and independent Warrior is.
So this is gonna hit the stone. We're gonna be on sand.
This is gonna explode.
And he's gonna do the opposite. He's gonna go on sand. We're gonna be on stone. Blue, so intercards. He's going to cleave into a cross. Alright, back to Mercy Fourfold. So we're just going to pay attention to the swords and be the opposite. Get another easy pattern of just relative west and relative east. Cross over.
That's fine. I was trying to pop an ether
All right,
kit. while
Seasons
also
of
moving.
Mercy. So we're going to get a grid pattern. We're going to look away from the orb and ski inside the grid, and then away from the flower. So look away from the orb, grid,
Ooh, I
away
did
from
not.
flower.
You hate to see it. Goodbye, gamers.
See ya.
Yo, let's go, the Re-Raiser!
Yeah, let's go. Burn Tempest is a red wide.
I love that for me.
This does literally, I'm not even gonna admit, it's gonna do like tickle me. Yeah. I believe this is Hot Wing again. Yeah, Hot Wing, everyone in the boss. I'm just gonna jump back in the center. He's gonna have glowy swords, so we're gonna be pushed into a barricade. Alright, we got chains, so we're gonna stack, and then we're gonna spread the chains, then we're gonna be back in front of the barricade again. This is the raid wide.
It does like negative damage. It's so silly how little damage it does, honestly.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's Trinity Seeker.
Unique to these pieces of content is that there are things called personal spoils. So as you saw through the other dungeons that we did, you open a chest and it was for everyone, but there is only those things for yourself this time. I'm gonna follow directly behind where they were.
Alright, there's literally no traps.
Okay.
Just stay close to the left wall. Alright, Daho, so I'm gonna purposely bring him all the way to the beginning here. And this is just so we have more uptime. So he's gonna stay right here for the beginning. Sorry, so we're gonna go inside the shockwave. In the shockwave. And he's gonna use Feral Howl. Feral Howl is gonna knock us back, but because we're already against the wall, we're not really gonna get sent far back at all. And he's gonna use Fire Breath.
And
Which is going to be pointed against the wall.
Yeah, it'll be targeted against one of us, and if we were all against the wall, it'll be right in front of us, and then we just slightly move, and then head back towards the center.
Yeah. So we're going to bring him back to the center. Dogs are going to do their laps around the edges of the arena. And then parts of the wall is going to be unsafe, and we're going to be knocked back into a safe spot. You can also time a gap closer just beforehand. And you get sent right in the middle.
I tried, but I did not get it.
That's okay.
He only does the breaths 5 times around, so once you get into the second one, you can literally just stay still after the cleap, and the second one, you don't have to move again after that, which I think is really cool. I'm also going to do this.
We're not going to see traps again until after Queen's Guard, so you're safe to move.
It's after Spooky Skeleton Man.
Oh, Queen's Guard, then Phantom. Yeah, so it's after Phantom.
Yep.
Sorry. Speaking of Queen's Guard.
My favorite. I can LB open on them. Not that it really does much, but it's free DPS. We'll take it.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, even with 7 rays, you can showcase that like the limit break is going to do X amount of damage, and you're going to do something like Scorch and do more damage than the limit break. Alright, so first we're going to gather them all up. And then when they're at 80%, they're going to disappear, or when they've done 2 raid wides. Wait, this is not Savage. I don't know. It's 2 raid wides on Savage. I think they just auto-attack. They just auto-attack.
They just auto-attack here in normal, yeah.
But it is 80% and they disappear. Okay, then we're going to get 1 at a time. So this is the gunner. All he's going to do is he's going to place these statues. And we're just going to have to avoid where they're going to point. So it's only one's pointing towards the center. So as long as you're not in the center or in the southeast, you're fine. This is a raid wide. And we're going to do the same thing, but it's going to be 4 of them. So as long as they're again not in the center. Very easy pattern. Alright, second one. Soldiers, he's going to duplicate himself. And it's the one that's not tethered. So he's going to tether to 2 of them, not tethered to the other 2. The ones that are not tethered, the ones we're going to go to. So we can go either north or south. I'm going to go north because I'm already next to north.
You can see the AoEs are going off around them. The ones to my left and right are the ones that are going off, and the one next to me did not, even though it seems that it was. It's just an illusion.
This is a tank buster, but probably does nothing.
What tank buster?
Alright, so we're going to do it again, but this time the clones are going to jump, I think, 4 times in normal.
Yeah, they're going to jump a few times, so we just have to pay attention to where they jump and then head away from them afterwards.
Yeah. But he's just going to die, so it doesn't matter. He's already dead. We don't even have to pay attention.
Yep, he's going to transition before it goes off. So if you knock these bosses to 0.1% HP, they will finish setting up for a mechanic, but they will never actually finish it. So they will transition before they are able to actually execute the attack that we were preparing for.
Alright, so for this, we're going to go near a big bomb because of weight. So small bombs are going to go really high up. We're going to go with the small bombs. Big bombs are going to blast first, so we want to land where the big bombs blasted. Rapid Server is a tank buster. He's going to cast Reversal of Forces. It's going to do the exact same thing, but the difference being it's going to reverse gravity. So the big ones are now going to be small. Small is now going to be big, indicated by the tethers. But it doesn't matter because now he's dead. But if you were to do it, you just go by a small bomb instead. And finally, we got the Knight. Knight only has 2 mechanics. You got Sword Omen and Shield Omen. If it's Sword Omen, we're going to go out. He's going to do a nice little cleave around like this. And if it's Shield Omen, we're going to stay in. So we're going to go out.
Oh my gosh, I didn't go out in time. I was being silly. Goodbye, friends.
That's okay. And Shield Omen, we're going to go in. We're going to go nice and in his little ring.
Go inside of this little hitbox there. So while I'm not doing mechanics, I can talk a little bit more about why this is just such a cool piece of content, and you can do with 4 people, or you can do with 8 people, or you can do with as many people as you'd like. But just that we have the echo up here, and it gives us more HP, more damage dealt, and then any healing that we do gives us more HP. Because we have more HP, they're like, okay, you should probably actually be able to heal that much more. We also have these things called Rays. There is Fortitude, Valor, and Succor, which it gives us more defense, more attack, and more HP. You can see that blue is all dressed up, has all 10, 10, 10 across the board. I have 2, 7, Saba has 8.
Careful, coat of arms, respect the mechanic.
Yeah, coat of arms means that there's a directional parry, and each time you attack on the wrong side that has the shield, it gives you a stack of Twice Come Ruin. But these things combined with the echo, these rays that we have, and these essences that we're bringing in with us, we're just very easily able to do this. What was traditionally meant to be 24-person content, we can now do with just the 4 of us, with a little bit of coordinated effort and a little bit of respecting the mechanics.
I think it's so cool that it's clear the developer wanted people to be able to do cool stuff like this, right? Because of the whole echo mechanic. Like, the devs are so down with people doing these kinds of challenge runs or doing it with less people than intended, and that's so fun.
It is really cool. I'm gonna grab 2 more re-raisers, and I'm going to...
I wait for farm before I pull.
Another shade spell. We're gonna teleport back. You cannot use a Phoenix down to res in the middle of a fight. You cannot use it in combat. It is not a combat usable item, actually, unfortunately. I saw someone said that in chat. You unfortunately cannot.
Phantom has a really cool mechanic. We're gonna walk our donut. I mean, assuming he doesn't die beforehand, which I kind of hope he doesn't. Alright, so we're gonna do a cute little strat here. So we're gonna move all the way over here. This orange purple thing bit is gonna go off with delayed. So we can just tuck away ourselves in this corner here.
You're intended to walk with the donut, but we are not doing that at all.
And then we're gonna bring the boss as melon deck is raid wide. Because the square now is gonna be a circle, and we're gonna now walk our donut. So we can get as much uptime as possible. There we go. So I think this is a really cute mechanic. I thought it was really cool. So we're literally just gonna walk the donut. Oh, that was really creative. Alright, summon, so just gonna put an ad either north or south. Just gonna do a pushback. So we're gonna stay where we are, we're gonna get pushed back north.
And he's
Vile Waves
moving.
Aquanal.
Not moving. Yeah.
So after Vile Wave, he's just going to combine the two. He's going to summon, then we're going to get pushed back into Walker and our donut. Oh, this is where traps are, so... That was a poison trap. There's a mass explosion trap. So it dealt, like, what, half my health? And I didn't use any mitigation.
Jeez. Don't like that.
Definitely killed me, though.
Luckily, you had a re-raiser.
They do nothing.
Yay. We have plans.
Yeah,
we always have plans.
Nothing.
Better wait and walk down this way. So as you can see, she's just walking on her own, just floating through it. And she's cheering for something. And she's like, "Yay, we did it!" Like as if she did anything.
So this Trinity of Vow is actually my favorite fight in DRS, but this also still has a very nice mechanic. And also this mechanic's actually used a lot in new current content. You see variations of this everywhere now, so which I think is really cool. So Wrath of Boja, you can use this to share with your friends. It's fun. Glory of Boja's raid wide. So Trinity of Vow, the biggest thing about Trinity of Vow is the temperature mechanic. You're going to get 2 bars or 1 bar of either hot or cold. And there's going to be mechanics, out by the way, Francis' staff. There's going to be mechanics where we're going to have to get hit by it purposely, because this entire time you've been avoiding these orange AoEs because they're bad. But we actually want to get hit by it to balance out our temperature. So we're gonna get hot and cold now. I got 1 hot, so I'm gonna have to get 1 cold.
And I have 1 cold, so I need 1 hot. This first instance, the mechanic will always be by ones. These proximity meteors are going to come down, and then they are going to show us what temperature they are. So I'm gonna go over here.
So we're gonna purposely stand now in the orange AoE to get hit by it to normalize our temperature. And it's going to be in 2 different forms based on what weapon she used. So that was the staff. Staff is always meteors. Second's going to be the bow. We're going to be behind her. So we're going to go behind her right now. Right here, friends. And a bow is a ladder game. Alright, Flames of Boja first. She's going to paint the area and basically flames to set up for ladder game. I don't remember if is normal telegraphed. Either way,
Yes, it shows you
with
where
your
the patterns are going to go in normal. It doesn't give you the telegraph.
Okay, yeah. Then you don't have to do it with your eyes, but you just look at the arrows. So again, we got our buff. I got ice, so I need 1 fire. They will always do the next available turn.
If they can turn, they will.
Yes.
So I tried to show the whole panel there so you could see both of them moving while also staying in my safe spot. But as you could see, if the ice could turn, it did. If the fire could turn, it did. And that was how we determined where our safe spot would be.
Yeah. So the last weapon she uses is a sword. We're going to stand in front of her. Then we're going to do half room cleaves.
Ooh, I forgot that breaks my combo. Oops, that's fine.
We're going to be right in here in front of her. Other side, friends.
And you see Sadi just stands and everything.
So TA will always cleave a half room only twice.
So this is the next instance of it, a Blade of Entropy. So I need this. I need to get hit by this sword. So I'm going to get hit by it, and you're going to see that my temperature is going to be regulated. So now I have to avoid any other sword cleaves that she does, because then I will be imbalanced afterwards, which is
There's something funny you can do, because the next 2 are always single. I can stand right here and get hit by both. And what she's going to do is she's going to give me 1 fire. And then she's like, oh, I didn't mean to burn you. I'm going to freeze you again. She's just going to give me 1 ice. And I'm going to normalize my temperature now twice. It does nothing, but it's kind of fun. Unseen Eye. So 2 of the walls are going to spawn her ads. Cardinals are safe. And it's either going to be Cardinals are safe or Intercards are safe. Now she's going to do that in between every weapon until she dies. This is Wrath of Boja.
So this is
Probably
actually
shouldn't share with my friends.
It does a conal cleave, and a lot of the times with those markers, it only usually does an attack on top of the tank. But that one is a cleave, and if you have something we call light curtain or one of the reflects, you can actually stand inside of it and have the damage reflected back at her, which is really funny.
Out, friends. I am not used to normal. I'm sorry.
That's
could have
all
more
good.
uptime.
We, for the most part, know what we're doing. I just have to actually think about talking and doing things at the same time.
Okay. Stay in center. Oh no, there's an Unseen Eye first, I think.
No, these are just these are the meteors again.
Meteors and Unseen Eye. But I don't think she's gonna be alive much longer.
This will go off, but she will hit 0 HP now.
Yeah, we're not gonna see this Unseen Eye. Just kill it. It's intercards. If we need to, I'll just go intercard now.
And she's down. Goodbye, Trinity Avowed. Goodbye.
Alright, so we're coming down to the end of it, and the end's the Queen. And the Queen, you're going to see a little bit of everything minus TA, which kind of sucks. I would like Queen to have temperature mechanics, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So we're going to see a little bit of TS, we're going to see a little bit of Queen's Guard, a little bit of Phantom, I guess the Feral Howl and the Summon is kind of like the Heaven's Wrath. So I guess Dahu as well.
Yeah,
Just a little bit of everything.
yeah, we're gonna see some stuff we've already seen again, which is really cool.
Yeah. So Queen, she's gonna do her tank busters called Cleansing Slash. And we actually don't have any way to cleanse it. So if I take damage at any point, I'm going to get instant doom, but it's going to be cleansable. So that's why I brought medkits. So medkits, wards, warden ability, or any healer that does Isuna can clear it. If you take any damage, you just get a cleansable doom. But I didn't take any damage. So I didn't show it. I was kind of hoping I did.
Usually if I'm tanking this in a normal capacity, like I have to respect what's going on, I bring Dark Knight and just use TBN and I never take any damage.
Yeah. Middle is safe, friends.
So
So first thing is normal chest. Normal chests, you're just going to look at where the ads are. And they go up that many spaces based on their number on their model. So you just kind of trace it out.
Yeah, there's little dots in the
Next
center
is-
of their model.
Sorry. That was a raid wide. Next is North Swain's Glow. So we're just going to go with the open spot. These orange lines are like, I don't know what you call them, but they will
It's a
explode
driveway.
when they touch.
Gotta park the car.
Yeah, you gotta park
Yeah.
the car.
We're going to go this way. Whatever direction this is. This is
The
west.
side
We're going to
of
go
the
west.
area.
We don't have to go too west. The explosion isn't that big, but... And then she's going to transition at 50% if we see it. But we're good. Okay, so Heaven's Wrath is going to be a knockback. So we're going to be close to it. Close to the center because it's a circle. Another Cleansing Slash. Saying now it's God Save the Queen. Oh no, we're gonna get one more Queen as well. We didn't damn DPS enough.
And then we
That's
get
fine.
God Save the Queen. I think our DPS must be a little
Where I am.
Down here is
North
fine.
of her.
Safe. Right here.
yeah, just
the
right
square.
there. I had to think about it for a second. I was like, yeah. I have not. That's the first time I've had not center safe in a very long time.
So there's a half room cleave. We're gonna go on the west side.
She's gonna cleave the three. She's gonna cleave 3 on the right or 3 on the left. So the center is never safe. It is always the 2 on the left or the 2 on the right that's safe.
Alright, so she's below 50%. So now she's gonna cast God Save the Queen, which is supposed to be a really big raid wide. To indicate that she's entering her next phase for relentless plays. But it's not gonna do literally anything.
It does
It's 0 damage.
3,000
Holy
damage
cow.
to me. No damage.
Wow.
Alright, so now we're stepping the visit of the earlier mechanics. So she's gonna cast Relentless Play, which is gonna bring 2 random ads from Queen's Guard. Oh, Super Chest first. Oh, no, not Super Chest. It's not DRS.
No, no
so-
super chest today, baby.
So we're gonna have a number above our heads. Once the Queen's Will drops down to 0, we have to walk that many, or we're gonna get a twice to come ruin stack. So I got 2, so I just need to move 2 spaces. Then I'm just gonna chill right here. The next time we see it, we're gonna see ads as well from the normal chest. We just have to position ourselves to make sure we don't get cleave from them. Another Cleansing Slash. There we go, finally took damage. So, see, I got a cleansable doom now.
Now you don't. And that bleed does absolutely nothing.
So this is Relentless Play. It looks like we have a warrior and a gunner. So gunner's gonna do the automatic turret like he did last time. So we're gonna find 4. Again, middle kind of to the west is not safe. Heaven's Wrath is gonna be a pushback and a bomb slinger. He is not tethered, so the large bombs are going to be safe. So we're going to be pushed back into a large bomb. We're going to chill right here.
I like jumping to the ones in the middle. It makes me feel alive.
Graham Iniquity is a raid wide.
Which will do, again, no damage.
Then I think it's Queen's Edict 2, which is the introductory to seeing the normal ads again. Yes, so we're just gonna not only be careful how much we move, we're also gonna look at the model and how much they move and position ourselves accordingly. Fun fact about this, the corners is always safe. So if you're ever unsure where to go, and you don't really want to use your brain, you can go right to the middle, right to a corner, and it will always be safe.
That's wonderful.
Regardless where they spawn.
Nice.
But it doesn't matter if
I
she's
have the
dead.
quest of I got raw emotions. Let's go.
Nice job.
They're all exhausted afterwards. And again, there are personal spoils at the end of these. You must open these for yourself. No one else can open them for you. It's just easier than trying to divvy up rewards to everybody. It is just considered personal spoils instead. But as you saw there at the very end, I got something called raw emotions. And if I open my Chocobo saddlebag here, I have a bunch of relics that I'm working on. And then you can see I have a bunch of raw emotions already. A lot of people will do that piece of content to work on the relic steps, which are cool extra weapons that you can get in this content or this part of content in the game. They're just glam for now. They're just like glamorable pieces. They're not best in slot for anything. They don't give you any extra anything unless you want to do things like the Weapons Refrain ultimate or the Unending Coil of Bahamut, which are ultimates in which those relics have certain stats on them, are considered best in slot, but otherwise they're just really pretty. I do believe I have one on my adventurer plate. Yeah, there's one. There's one of the Law's Order relics there, but yeah, that was Delubrum Reginae normal. As you can see, it didn't take us very long at all. I have no idea.
Yeah, great
actually.
job. GG's. Like that was fantastic. Finishing like 15 minutes under estimate. You love to see it.
Yeah, we're just the
very
four of
nice.
us. It takes give or take about 30 minutes to clear it, and you can do it with 4 of your friends. You do it with 8 of your friends. You can do it with 23 of your friends. If you have 23 friends that you can get to queue into Delubrum Reginae normal with you, I am so happy for you. Good for you.
Proud of you.
Yeah, the flip side of it is if you do queue in with 24 people, you no longer get the echo buff. But because it was just you have to have 8 or less, like one party, you get to have the echo buff. The other flip side is if you queue in with 24 people, you get in automatically. You do not have to wait for 10 minutes. I have it hidden on my screen, so you don't see my duty list right now at all. But there is a 10-minute mandatory timer that if you queue with less than 24 people, that you have to wait 10 minutes to get in. It is the game's natural way of going like, hey, is there anybody else queuing up for this content? Newsflash, no, they're not. No one is hard queuing for this content. No one is going, I'm gonna just see and wait if other people are going to be doing Delubrum Reginae normal today. That's not going to happen. So if you want to go in and you might not necessarily have a bunch of friends who can go in with you, or it's your first time through the content, you can open what we call Party Finder here in the menu. I'm not going to open Party Finder because it's going to show up a bunch of stuff. But you can set up a party that you're looking to go into Delubrum Reginae normal. It will be under it'll be under one of the special tabs at the top of the Party Finder, and then you can find other people who will go in with you. You need obviously like 3 to 4 is pretty comfortable if you have people with a lot of essences, but if it's your first time, usually you'll look for 8 people. You'll get the party filled with the 8 people. You'll go wait the 10-minute queue. You'll go in and get your clear. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. And if you do relics, you're going to be there a lot. Get used to it. It is one of the quickest ways to get raw emotions. Ask me how I know with 40 of them.
Amazing. Yeah, that was super fun to watch, but it was very different than the stuff we saw in the first portion of the show. So thank you all for showing that off. It was really fun hearing you all like talk through the different phases, where you needed to go, all that move. It was super, super fun.
Yeah, low people for cast streams tends to be pretty bad if not everyone is got everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having the
Usually
essence
not.
is important.
Makes sense.
It's usually not worth it if you have like 6 or less people. You can do it, but they're always rough. They're always rough runs.
For sure. Well, that was the conclusion of our second portion of the showcase today. We have one more thing that we're going to be doing after we get back from our second break, which is Eureka Orthos learning. Super excited about that. Basically just going to do that until the end of the show. You know, have these players are really talented and can talk to you about, you know, learning a new thing together and all of that. That's going to be so much fun. So we're going to go on a short break and then we'll be right back with more Final Fantasy and more It's Dangerous to Go Alone. See you in a bit. Hello, everyone. It is time for our third segment of today's It's Dangerous to Go Alone show, all about co-op speedruns. We're here doing Final Fantasy XIV online. We did some dungeons and raids. We did Delubrum Reginae with 4 players, and now we're gonna, you know, have a live learning session of Eureka Orthos with our 4 runners here. So I will let them explain what that is, what they're gonna be doing until until the end of the show.
Yeah, so Eureka Orthos is now the 3rd deep dungeon inside of Final Fantasy XIV. We have Palace of the Dead, we have Heaven on High, and we just, with this last patch that came out a couple weeks ago, we now have Eureka Orthos. It ties somehow into the Eureka lore with some stuff that's going on, but also doesn't, and also ties into the Crystal Towers. It's very interesting how this ties into the lore. But because this is a deep dungeon, you can enter with 1 to 4 players. You can go in by yourself, or you can go in with 3 of your friends, which I'm going to do here. We're just going to go inside of Eureka Orthos. We're just going to play around in the dungeon. We're going to show you how deep dungeons work, how you can split them up as a team and clear them optimally, and then talk about some of the really cool strats of just going speedy with your friends, because that's what we're here to do. So we're going to talk to this fellow over here. I'm going to make sure I have a free slot. I do not. As you can see, I was playing the other day. So just everybody double check that you have a free slot to enter Orthos.
I do.
We should.
Alrighty. Is everyone?
I haven't entered it at all, so.
Alright, is everyone on the class they want to go in on?
Yeah.
Sure.
We're going to enter in with a fixed party, which means we're going in with the 4 of us. Alright. And then you can start the timer. I guess we need it, and yes, we don't. But in 3, 2, 1, go.
Perfect.
Alright, welcome to Eureka Orthos. This is a deep dungeon. These are dungeons that are completely random every time you walk inside of them. They're going to have rooms just like this one here, and you're going to see there's a room in front of us and a room behind us. There are different amounts of rooms on every floor, and there is floors 1 through 9 of every 10 set of floors is going to be just like this. They're going to be rooms you're going to be able to go through, and then every 10th floor is a boss. Unique to this content of the game is this menu that you see right here on my screen with my character info. I am currently starting at level 81, and as you saw prior, we were level 90 before we entered, but now we are at level 81. So what this does is we start at a lower level, and as we continue to play inside of the dungeon here, we will gain more levels and XP. Normal food eating does not count for level gain inside of here. The only thing you gain by eating food is the extra vitality that it gives you. In each of these rooms, you'll see that there are these chests that my friends are opening. There are silver chests and gold chests here. Gold chests are going to contain these palm enders that you see on the right side of my screen here. And the silver chests will either contain a demi-cyclone generator or will give us Aether Pool. Unique to this again is our regular stats do not count. There is these the Orthos Aether Pool Arm and Orthos Aether Pool Armor here on the right. So we have a unique amount of arm and armor that accounts for our attack and our defense. One last thing about deep dungeons is that they have traps inside of the rooms. So each room that is not your starting room has the chance of having a trap on the floor. These traps can turn you into an animal and will keep you from attacking or using any abilities, potions, things like that. They can blow up. They can do 80% of your current health, or they can do things like enfeeblement, which will cause you to take more damage and deal less damage. So we want to attempt to avoid those, but honestly, we're in a group, so it kind of doesn't matter. As long as we we can also split up and go in different ways. So you'll see my friends are heading into the room behind me, but I'm just gonna go into this room and I'm gonna pull an enemy and just start wailing on it while I wait for my friends to catch up. So uniquely to Deep Dungeons is that it has a large draw of solo content. So there are titles that you can earn inside of this game for clearing each of the Deep Dungeons solo. For Palace of the Dead, there's a title for, oh, I'm an owlet. Oh, that's so cute. Look at me, I'm very cute.
Yeah.
I'm cute now.
It's adorable.
There's a title for 1 to 100 and 1 to 200 solo of Palace of the Dead, 1 to 100 of Heaven on High, and 1 to 100 of Eureka Orthos. Each of these titles have a different one. I have the 1 to 100 for Palace of the Dead on Lonely Explorer here. But there are actually, if you go and look on speedrun.com, there are actually speedruns of 1 to 100 Palace of the Dead on speedrun.com under Final Fantasy XIV. And if you don't already know already, there's actually also speedruns of different dungeons and other raid content that we showed off earlier, which was, I think, a cool thing about what we were doing. Not everybody has the same, has a lot of the same ideas of doing the speedrun dungeon content that we do. A lot of people tend to do it unsynced, whereas we were doing some of it synced earlier. We were doing it as the level they were intended. But Final Fantasy XIV is still just popular enough to have a speedrun.com page, so if you haven't already checked it out, please go check it out. But this is the new instance of a deep dungeon. You start at 81 and you go and you level all the way to 90. So once we hit level 90, we will no longer level up and we will be left at 90 for the rest of the dungeon. And we're just gonna keep going through here and we're gonna talk about how fun it is to be in deep dungeons and play content with your friends. And
Friends? Content?
friends!
Those are all the things
Yeah.
I too love and enjoy. Wow.
Oh, Saba, do you have an enemy?
Yeah,
you
it
brought
was
a
following
friend.
one of you.
Oh. That's unfortunate. It is now no longer with us. That's okay.
Yeah, Revelation did like 60% of its health.
Gonna pull it off. Let's do it.
Yeah, you all get it. I will, you know what? I will show that off and I will come towards you.
If you want to go fast in here, it's just a matter of finding the exit, and if you still need enemies, you work backwards.
And when you have a whole party who is like ready to work together and is paying attention to what they're doing, you can just very quickly dispatch all these enemies. It's
Yeah,
so
I
weird
found the
to
exit,
not have
so we're just gonna
community.
wait. Kill all these people that are following me. Seems like there's only one now.
We just need
That's
to
already dead.
probably need to kill 1 or 2 more.
And it's done.
There we go. TMB getting a little feisty there and going and getting that silver chest. I saw that. I was like, oh, is he gonna go for it? And you did.
I'm bringing a
I'll
friend.
kill random things while I wait then.
Oh, do we have another friend? Ooh, so many friends.
So big birds, get out. Don't get in. You'll die.
Or we just knock his HP to 0 and it'll be fine.
Yeah. So EO has a lot of gotcha mechanics. So this is normal for Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High. This is the only also content in Deep Dungeons where enemies have enrages. And EO is no different. There's a lot of mechanics that if you're not in or out when something happens and you get caught in the orange AoE, you just instantly perish.
Just simply perish, I guess. Leave this plane of existence. You can just get out. Just leave. By standing in the AoE. Also, if you noticed, when we were outside of the dungeon, we had our own unique weapons and different stuff that we had on us. But once we were inside of this, you can see that my staff my scythe is no longer the glowing red one I had on prior. It is now this whitish green. I can't tell, I'm colorblind, very sorry. But it is a different weapon. So in each of these deep dungeons, you are then reassigned a different weapon, which ties into your Aether Pool arm that I pointed out a little earlier. This means that whatever weapon glam you have on does not carry on into these dungeons, which is a little unfortunate. But what's really cool is once you build up this Aether Pool, there is the NPC that you talk to queue into the dungeon. You can talk to them, and for every 10 set of Aether Pool that you get, you can exchange them for grips, and they will, after you get so many grips, you can retain this weapon that you see me have on right here outside of the dungeon as glam, which is really cool.
There's nothing in this room. We can pass it.
Just pull them anyway. We can use them to open the gate.
Get out. Do not go in the big burst unless you want to die.
Oh.
All right, I guess you want to die.
Respecting the mechanics, friends. Respecting the mechanics.
That we would stun.
So there's a lot of gotcha mechanics. This is one of them.
Also, music. 11 out of 10. Very good.
Yes.
When are they giving Warrior raise?
Yeah. When are they gonna let?
Oh my
tanks
god,
resurrect
Warrior
us?
has enough stuff. It doesn't need a raise.
Yeah, give it
so-
raise, give it Azuna, give it raise over time.
Oh my gosh.
So
much
behemoths
stuff.
do their typical ecliptic meteor. You don't want
you
to
just
see
kill
it.
it.
Or you just
Or
yeah.
you just kill it. Yeah.
Make sure that it cannot do that. No ecliptic
There's the
meteor
ecliptic
today.
meteor cast.
Not today. No. I'm scared of the grenades now, not gonna lie. I had a little taste of messing around and finding out.
I mean,
For real.
I did mention it.
I know, but I'm just bad at respecting the mechanics. We saw what happened in DR where I was like, oh, I can get out in time, and I went to use my red mage ability to get out, and I realized I didn't have a stack of it ready to go, and I oopsied into not being alive.
You know what happens.
So the very last room that we didn't check is the exit. So that's typical.
You love to see it. I love that for us. Try not to move my camera too much.
I mean, Warrior has rescue in PvP. They should just give it also in PvE as well. Just let's make the chain part of home getting its own separate ability and just have it be
God.
rescue.
Sounds terrible.
Also, still have it bind the target, so you just bind whoever your teammate is.
you just switch places with them, they can take the take buster for you instead.
Nice landmine. Good timing. So landmines, if you have it affects even enemies. So another strat you can do is reveal the traps with a palmander of sight. See a landmine, grab a huge mob, run over said landmine, and then just do a quick AoE and they're all dead.
Yeah, because landmines will always do 80% of the target's current health, even if they are at less than 100% health. Whatever number your health is, take 80% of that, and that's the damage that it deals to you.
Yeah.
So it is very
But
easy
also
to...
remember that's including as you as well. So
Yes.
don't do the strat if you have like 70% health because you will.
You need
cease to
81 or more,
exist.
even if you survive with 2 health. Or even 1 health. That's 1 more health than you needed to survive. Oh, I love that for us.
It's all right.
No, it's fine.
I have echo drops, but I do not have a way to cleanse your pacification. So there's kind of
it doesn't matter.
reason. I'm just gonna.
I also
Say
have
hi to
echo
this
drops in my
behemoth.
bag, but it doesn't really matter because I can just auto attack though. I can auto attack. That's very fun. For
Fine, we just gotta wait for this
1,294 health.
anyways.
I can cast. I'm a ninja.
Ah ha ha. Yes,
Ninja
I'm
privilege.
a melee caster.
We found the exit, so what you want to do in deep dungeons is find the exit and then work backwards. So we found the exit, so now we know that these rooms are going to be safe. So if we need to kite a dangerous enemy, we're just going to bring one at a time, head towards the exit, active, and it's safe, so we just go right to the exit.
And by safe, what blue means is that enemies will respawn in these rooms over time, but generally on lower floors, it tends to be take a little longer for the enemies to respawn. So we just know that we've already cleared these rooms, and that if we've already stepped on the traps in these rooms, we know that there's no more traps in the room. So if we need to pull an enemy from one room into another, or if there is what we call patrols, which walk through rooms and sometimes against walls, we can just pull them into those rooms because we've already cleared through them.
Yeah. And if the game really likes you, they'll put a patrol right behind you.
I love when patrols spawn right behind me, and then I go to pull the patrol into another room, and then there's another patrol that is spawned and is heading right towards my direction, right then, right there. Tell me how I felt that one before.
Alright, not there.
Can't use items.
Oh, and we don't
go
even
for
have
it.
any, we don't have any cleansing either, so that's really unfortunate.
Alright, found the exit, so we're just gonna clear the exit, clear these enemies, and that should be enough. Look away, friends.
Come on. There we go. I've been working on that one for a while. They did not want to go.
Nope.
It was like, hey, we're going to be a little difficult. It feels so strange not to have Communio in my attack that I do in between. It feels so odd.
Alright. 2 more 4s for this set.
Nice.
Actually making really good time.
Yeah, this is
Am I
super
actually
fun to
doing my
watch.
set?
This is awesome.
Very soothing. It's very soothing to just, like, go through Deep Dungeon. It's, like, one of my favorite pieces of content in this game. Like, just all the Deep Dungeons are very fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Definitely
walk
seen
with
something
this
that would
one.
be up my alley for sure. I like this kind of stuff.
Hoping we see a Dread Beast, but we're kind of coming to the end. We haven't seen a Dread Beast yet. We have one more floor to potentially see one.
I heard
gonna go this way.
this would be up your alley. Eyes emoji? Are we gonna get you into the game just for this stuff? Hold on.
Mimic.
Mimic.
I'm kiting it.
Oh, I don't have a.
That's fine. Oh, that's right. Still, it's ranged. I forgot. Yes, whatever.
I found the exit.
Okay, so the reason why the Mimic was so important is that Mimics are run killers in this game. So they gave TMB something called Pox. What Pox does is now TMB has a heavy bleed, takes more damage, and deals less damage, and that lasts for 10 entire minutes. What is interesting about Mimics is that once you get past level 30 Mimics in Deep Dungeons, and this mostly holds true only for Palace of the Dead, that you can no longer stun them. They are immune to stun. So this means you either need to get rid of the Mimic very quickly, or you need to have an ability which allows you to interrupt, which physical range classes do and tanks have. For physical range, it is called Head Graze. For tanks, it's just interrupt. So because it was not interrupted, TMB has that Pox. I don't think TMB is going to be in too much danger. I believe because there's just the 4 of us, it'll be fine. We'll still survive. But if you're playing with less than 4 players, sometimes it gets a little spicy if somebody has Pox. I'm just gonna get the dragon. So one of the strategies for Deep Dungeons is sometimes if you don't think that you need a chest, don't open it. You never know when it can be a Mimic. Or when you're with your friends, you just like to mess around and find out and just see if
I got a storm bomb, so 1 floor is free whenever we want it.
nice. I love that for us.
Pop some strength, friends.
Yeah, I popped one.
So Blue just asked us to use a Pomander strength. He asked us to pop a strength. What this means is these Pomanders on the side, we can only carry up to 3 of them at any time. Strength gives us damage up and allows our healing magic or any healing abilities that we do to be more potent. And then a Pomander of Steel raises our defense, which is obviously really good. You want to take less damage. You want to be comfy and cozy. You'll take less damage. So when we have extras of these, we will do what we call popping them, which just means to use them to get rid of the extras. Because you again can only hold 3 at a time, and it just helps us with our stats as we continue on. There are certain strategies in which you will hold certain Pomanders for different parts of different floors, or like if you're really close to the end and you're like, oh, you're on floor 9 and there's an extra of, I don't know, an intuition or affluence, you know you're not going to be able to use it for the next floor, you'll just leave it behind because you can't use it. There won't be a piece of the Accursed Horde on the next floor. You're not going to get chests on the next floor. And every 10 floors, whatever Pomander's effects that we carry on to the next floor will reset. So any strengths we use now, any shells we use now, they're going to wear off as we enter into the next set of floors.
Alright, so this is Gangkana. I can never pronounce it, just a Mandragora. But I love this fight. So she's going to Shriek, and every one of the 4 random tiles are going to be AoEs. So we're just going to find a safe spot. She's going to do this twice. And then she's going to place a proximity on the main threat. So now Saba is going to have a proximity marker soon. We're going to run away from said proximity marker. And then it's going to be a little limit cut. So middle is always going to be 1, and it's going to be either 2 or 3 where we are. And we're just going to be running right into the center. And that's it. That's the entire fight.
Nice.
And now she's going to mimic everything she did. So 2 more cycles of the 4 random AoEs, followed by a proximity, followed by limit cut. Repeat till death.
I don't know why I didn't come with the party, to be quite honest.
I love this fight. I love all the bosses. They're just so well designed. So now it's a proximity. Please remove yourself away.
She's out.
Or
She's
don't,
done.
because it's dead.
That's what the Alabama
That's the first 10 floors.
Yes, because I played through this solo, but did not clear the first 10 floors. So,
Great job. That's awesome.
oh, also
Do we have time for
between
10 more floors or no?
Yeah, we could do some more floors. I think we could probably do another 10 set maybe. How much?
Sure.
What are we looking like on time, Frozen?
Let me see. Our timer is at 19 minutes. So,
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely do
Let's
another
do
10
it.
floors if that's okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Awesome.
One more set.
Great. 11 to 20. Eyes emoji.
Yeah, I'm having a ton of fun watching this. Y'all are working together really well.
And these dungeons are just so beautiful. Like, look at how great this looks.
It's
I'm going to
so
pop
cool.
Fortune and Affluence to get more chests.
These are just
So feel free to
cool.
pop Strength since this is our last 10 set. Have some fun. Use whatever you like.
We do have a Storms as well to make any floor free.
So think about Storm. The enemy still will regen unless the debuff is no auto regen. So it's not exactly a floor skip. But what you can do is aggro like the entire floor basically, and then pop the storms. And since they're in the battle animation with you, they won't auto regen their health back.
Bad breath is bad. If you've ever played a Final Fantasy game ever, you know that bad breath gives you a ton of very detrimental effects, and it's not good. They are bad. It gives you like poison and blind and stun and ick and bad and the cooties. They're not good. We don't want that.
Yep, congrats on your achievement, Saba.
Thanks, I worked really hard for it.
I know you did. I'll put an IWAS here.
We'll carve it into the wall and it'll be there forever. Yeah, nice. I hate
I
that.
already found the exit. That's twice in a row. It's next to the entrance. So that's kind of rare, actually. You love to see it, though.
You could say that fortune smiles on us, possibly.
Very nice.
Yeah,
timing
so
with
what
the,
fortune does is it gives a greater chance that the enemies, when they die, will drop a chest.
And
They still will drop a chest without fortune, but fortune just increases the chance considerably.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Nice trap, by the way.
I saw that pacification go off.
It wasn't me. At least I don't think it was.
Thank you for finding that for me. I would hate to run into it.
Says the person with the echo drops and as a caster and does not have to worry about it. Okay. I love that for you, bestie.
Alright, passage is active, so we actually don't need to kill anything else. We will naturally get 90 before we hit 20.
I'm an owl! Look at how
You're cute.
Oh my god, that's adorable.
Yeah, it's adorable.
That's so good.
I love how it's a different animal every time.
Now we have an owl's point of view. Oh, I'm also actually going to do this so nobody gets blinded by the transition here, but... Oh, no longer an owl.
Unfortunate.
No more bad breath for us. No standing in it at bad.
Someone pop a steal.
I found the exit.
I mean, Robin could pop a steal. I don't think it'd really help
That's
me.
alright. Just a steal. It's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah. Steal really
Alright, I'll
want
do
to-
it. Just give me a second.
I'm not going back. Don't worry about it.
Or use it. Who cares?
go back.
We have 3 of them, and you're the only person it benefits. So
Unfortunately, that didn't open it. Now we have to run 12 years to find another enemy.
oh, that was
There's some right here. Right where the
Yeah,
Pomander steel is.
Chest was there was some.
I didn't pay attention then.
That's okay. The one other I think interesting thing about
There we go.
Oh, and we're done.
the dungeons is you might be wondering, how in the world do we know when the exit is open, and what is our indicator for it? So if you haven't already figured it out, in the upper right hand of my screen here, there's a little mini map. It tells us our floor, shows us the map. There's also these 2 indicators here. There's a pylon of return and there's a pylon of passage. So what these do is that as we defeat enemies, this gauge goes from completely transparent, like you can barely even tell anything is there, and then they will eventually go from dark and not as dark to completely light. And once they are completely lit up, that means we can use them. Obviously, the pylon of passage is how we have been going between floors, and the pylon of return is if we did not have somebody with any raise capabilities. If one of us were to hit 0 HP and need to be resurrected, we would use the pylon of return to resurrect them. And this is important because you can come in here on all tank classes or all DPS classes or just anything that doesn't have natural resurrection capabilities, and you are still able to resurrect your friends. So that was very nice of them that they for once did something that benefits us in this game, because sometimes they do silly things in this game that we don't understand, that don't feel very nice, but that's okay because we find ways around them.
EGM 300.
This song is very good.
This is such a cool area.
Perfect.
I really like the enemies here. This is neat.
Yeah, I love the
Almost
aquatic
90.
atmosphere. It's very ambient. I like it. I like the water touch.
We'll hit 90 before the next boss, luckily.
Yeah, we'll naturally hit 90. Not a huge issue.
I want the Aether Pulse, so I'm gonna open this. Oh, unfortunate. That's fine. Thank you for the shake it off over time.
Yeah, no problem.
Overtime.
It heals us over time now, so
Oh,
So we're gonna grab a whole bunch of enemies. I'm gonna show
gonna storm
the
it?
storm. So I'm actually not gonna kill anything. So I can showcase storm.
How much more stuff can we need?
Don't take anything either, sadly.
So we're gonna grab this one too. Grab these 3.
Just let me know and I'll bop them.
Oh, hey, I hit a luring trap. Awesome. This is even gonna be even better. So we're gonna get all these, and then we're gonna pop storm right here, and you're gonna see all their HP just kind of die.
And they just instantly
we're
hit
done.
0.
That's what he meant
the
by
floor.
floor skip. Oh, this one spawned right in front of us.
Yeah, I saw that. It
So it only affects the ones that are actually on the map. If they spawn, it doesn't do anything.
That's why popping the luring trap before was so good.
Yeah. Storms is a way you can get rid of the dread beasts. Which, unfortunately, we have not seen yet. It's a low chance of it appearing, and we're already on floor 16.
That would be cool to see, but you know what? I'm gonna
Yeah.
use the strength now because I haven't gotten one yet. I'm gonna take it. Doesn't matter. Everything dies before I get there. I love that for me. There's just so many.
That's a return. It's a dead end. I don't know why I kept going.
There's just so many
My bad.
goodies. I love that for us.
I got 3 of them. We're gonna just waste them. 3 floors left. Might as well slow the entire floor.
Yep, we can use safety on every floor now.
Yeah, use safeties as well, and
I already did on this
sights.
one.
It's a good idea.
So what they're talking about is that we're on floor 16, and as I mentioned when we first came into Eureka Orthos, is that there's only 10 sets of floors, so they go in sets of 10, and only 1 through 9 are in this dungeon format. Every 10th floor is going to be a boss. So what this means is that the way we want to use Palmanders, if we're going to just completely use an entire stack of 3 that we have, we would use them on floor 16, 17, and 18. Usually 19 tends to either be really big or really tame and doesn't really matter. You could alternatively also just use them on 17, 18, and 19 if you feel like it. It just influences in which... I wish these things would explode so I can hit them. It just kind of influences your path of thinking of how you want to use your leftover Palmanders as you come closer to the end of a set of floors. If you're in a group, that's usually a pretty good idea. If you're playing by yourself, your thought process is going to be a little different because you want to carry some of these over in with you to the next 10 set of floors because you don't really know what's going to come up next and things are just going to get harder as they go. So with your friends, just use your Palmanders. Just slam them down. Doesn't matter. It's fine because you're going to clear the floors. You're going to get some more on the next set.
We're getting so lucky.
It goes so fast with 4 people. I'm not used to this. I play a lot of solo deep dungeons, so I'm not used to things melting. I'm like, I go to attack and I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, oh, it's gone. It's done. Okay,
This is like the 6th time now we had the exit literally right beside the entrance.
we're so lucky. We're such gamers.
I'm not complaining, but I mean, it's just rare.
We're gaming.
I wish I had this in my solo runs.
Why would the game be nice to us when we're doing solo? That would be...
Right? Why would the game be nice?
Just want a communio.
Exit's open.
Goodbye, my communio. Never mind.
You can walk around him.
Nope.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
I use my communio. He was just
So we
sitting there
got
all
2 more
charged.
floor chances for a dread beast. So, pray.
Alright, RNG gods, give us the cool
Right.
enemy.
We got this. Come on, please.
We just want to see something cool.
Early.
I just want to show it. No, not yet. All right, we got one more chance.
I also haven't seen it myself in here yet, so I think it'd be really cool to get to see it for the first time.
Not this way.
Oop, there's a cursed horde here.
Nice.
Nice.
Let's look around for it.
Oh, no, there's not a curse word here. We can just discern it. You just use an intuition. It's not here.
Aww.
Sorry.
I wasn't looking at
Found
the
the
map
exit.
at all.
I thought if you discerned it, then it meant that there was one to do.
No, it'll tell you if there was one, and also in the floor's mini map, it'll have the intuition pomander and have a question mark next to it that tells you that it's on the floor. You just need to find it.
Yeah, it'll be beside the key.
Ooh, we got Unai Demiclone.
Ooh.
You have two of them. You can pop one now if you want. So the one you just used is good for bosses. Uni.
Yeah.
I like
She uses Stone Skin on us as well as Allegan Cure. So it's very nice for bosses. And then the other guy, the Doga guy, he uses Petrify. He's a black mage.
That's
He
a
does
big
a lot
boy.
of damage.
All right.
And the higher floors, we're going to see Onion Knight.
Oh, they are big. Holy moly.
All right, last chance for a Dread Beast. Pray, pray, pray.
Come
Don't think this
on.
to us. We just want to see something cool.
Please.
Wanna see
Let us be
something really
cool.
Stone skin.
Nice Stone Skin, thank you. If anyone wants to pop the Doga, go for it.
I can get it.
Okay.
I'll pop everything on this floor.
Go wild.
No Dread
Nope,
Beast.
never mind.
Oh.
But we did get
no.
the
Oh, it's around the-
Accursed Horde, though.
I
So
use
there's going to
this
be a
one.
shiny spot.
Go.
I want if I see it, I'll point it out and get Varn to do it.
Yeah.
It's not in here. It's where you guys are going. This is the exit, though, so at least we know where the exit is.
Oh, this is a packed floor. Not having items is very unfortunate.
No, we got a Serenity from the chest and I popped it. We have items. Go wild,
Yeah.
friends.
Oh, do we?
'Cause I paused.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a Serenity and I immediately used it.
Yeah, see, Doga casts Petrify, so just kind of really easy.
I just was like, yo, a Serenity! And I just immediately just popped it. I did not care.
Alright, so this is it's right here. I see it. I'm gonna let Varn do it, though.
What are we doing? Oh.
The Cursed Horde.
Yeah, I got it.
One of the two of us can get it.
You stay on top of it. It'll come up naturally.
You're gonna see treasure appeared. And I love how the treasure appeared is always the same A Realm Reborn sound effect every time. We could be in Heaven on High, which is like Storyblade, or we could be here, which is Endwalker, and it still get the exact same sound effect.
Oh, indie company, please understand.
Yeah. We recycle sound effects.
Alright, time for 20 boss. Would you like to do it blind, or would you like me to tell you what happens?
No, we can
figure it
talk
out.
about it because there's people
Okay.
watching who don't know what's going on. So we should probably
Okay.
explain to them what is going on.
There's going to be a giant orb in the center, and his big gimmick is he's going to call these gargoyles. They're going to be in all 8 directions, in cards and intercards. And when they're tethered, they're going to do a conal attack. And all we're going to have to do is use our eyes to figure out where the conal is going to be, find the safe spot. It's going to be in 2 different patterns, and then he's going to do a double, where he's going to layer one half with tethers, then delay it and layer the other half with tethers. And we just got to figure out where to stand.
I'm loving all the luring traps.
Yeah, 2 luring traps in a row is cute.
It's very funny. It is just so funny. I love this for us.
There's a little extra content there.
Just a little bit.
6
of.
enemies just randomly in front of us. Alright, so get your Super Mario World memes orb.
Let's go.
Big giant orb.
You know it. Cloning node. Interesting.
So yeah, all 8 directions are going to be a gargoyle that's going to spawn. First it's going to be 4, then it's going to be all 8. You're going to find where the tether is. Tether is going to be a non-telegraph conal.
Ooh, nice.
And then boom.
Okay.
And that's it. That's the
I did
entire
not get
fight.
hit. I'm proud of myself for
We're
cheesing
going to do it
that.
again with the other 4. So now we have all 8. Each card an intercard.
I somehow survived
Now
that.
he's going to do
I
it
should not-
delayed.
I should have not
So
survived
it's
that.
going to be 3 in a row, and then 2. I think it's going to have the other tethered, and we just got to pay attention to where they tether. But there's one set, and it's going to be the other set. Over here, I believe. And it's over here.
Oh no. Ooh.
Oh yeah, there is uptime.
And that's it. That's
That's
the entire
wild.
fight. Now he's going to
He does
repeat,
give melee uptime.
rinse and repeat it. So it's going to be again, set of tethers, piercing laser, another set of tethers, double piercing laser. That's it.
He's
That's
almost gonna be
so
dead.
wild. For the record, I have never seen these bosses before, despite doing tons of House of Dead and Heaven on High. I haven't done any Eureka Orthos because I had to prepare for the thing yesterday.
Yeah, that's why I asked first. I wanted to respect you.
Nah, I mean, I knew we were
Saba
going to do
for
this, so
doing
it's
it.
fine.
Commit.
Oh, good. Ah!
Oh, maybe not. Oh no,
Oh no.
it's fine. We did it.
Woo! I should not have survived that. I was so
Great
scared.
job.
I was so scared. Oh my gosh. That was Eureka
I don't think we have
Orthos,
time
and
for
then it's
another
just again another piece of content you can just do hanging out with your friends, and you can make it go very fast if you'd like by working together as a team, using your palmanders together, and just knowing what classes you can take in to do a lot of damage.
See if anyone gets anything good out of their horde.
Oh yeah, that's true. We can do that.
That was sick. That was really, really cool.
I got nothing and nothing.
I got pantaloons and black corsage, which I already have. I love that. Thing. No good rewards, unfortunately.
I got some confetti and clear doom
Confetti.
material. So.
Okay, we take those.
All right then.
Take those. That was so much fun. Thank you all for showcasing the variety of different things to do. I liked each piece in its own way. And yeah, do you all have any last shout outs, things you want to say, all that good stuff? Go right ahead.
No, thank you for having us. It was fun.
Yeah, I just hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah. What's up? What's up?
Yeah. The 4 of us really don't honestly stream very often. But if you have a favorite Final Fantasy XIV streamer, definitely I don't know if you can send links in the chat, but shout them out. Go watch them instead, because we don't really stream. We're just a group of friends who just like to really do content together. We do Savages together. We actually 3 of us are in Ultimate Static together. So we just if you have friends that you can play this game with, please absolutely do. You can do speedruns together. You can do speedruns solo. Go check out the Final Fantasy XIV leaderboard on speedrun.com. There is a lot of content in this game that you can speedrun. You can do entire expansions. You can do the entire game. I believe there is actually going to be a entire, I think it's Heaven's Ward MSQ playthrough on Really Really Longathon, the next one that's coming up. So there's just a lot of this content that you can do as a speedrun that you don't think, oh, MMO speedrun. You absolutely can. So please definitely go check it out on speedrun.com. But yeah, that's pretty much it from us. Thanks for hanging out with us and letting us do some of our favorite content very fast.
Absolutely. Thank you all again so much. We had a really fun time here. I hope people who didn't, coming in how do you speedrun an MMO? You just play with your friends and go fast, and getting to hear their communication between each other. I hope you all got to see why that was really fun and really interesting. And my next show is gonna actually be another MMO. It's gonna be Toontown, the one that I play. And so us and a couple of friends, we're gonna be doing the tutorial section and then doing a boss showcase. So if you had fun with this and you're interested in more MMO co-op stuff, be sure to tune in 2 weeks. I'll actually be doing my first run on my own show. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But Hotfix is on every single day, you know, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern, speedrunning year-round. Be sure to stick around, keep watching GDQ Hotfix. But another thing you need to stick around for is the raid, of course. So we're going to find someone awesome to send all this love to. And catch you later for my next show, and see you all around. Thanks for being here.